feet, 8 inches. He hasn't improved on his very first jump to this point. Now, Robert Emian of the Soviet Union up for his 4th round jump.
Watch the height that Emian gets and try and remember Lewis's last jump.
And he really nails one. This is out there. 28 feet even. He knocks Myrick's down to 3rd, even further.
Drive off the board. Opposite knee drives high. Upper torso lifts. Your back gets arched and you extend as far as you can. Look at, he eats up about 6 inches of the toe board. He left 2 inches on the runway.
And Emian doesn't have near the speed that Lewis does. He's not slow by any means, and you can see on that board he was running into a slight headwind. Now, Larry Myrick's. He figures 2nd place may not be possible, but he wants to make sure he hangs on to 3rd. 5th round jump for Myrick's. And he's hesitating at 3 or 4 steps before the board, and that's really hurting him. 27 feet, 4 inches. That's his best jump of the competition. He's still 8 inches behind Emian.
Now, Myrick's is fast, but he doesn't have, of course, Carl Lewis's speed. He's more got the speed of Emian, but he needs every inch and every bit of technique to come together.
Really seems to be dropping his arms right near the board because he knows he's so close to fouling.
You can tell he wasn't hanging right in the air from the way he fell. And look, he left about 6 inches in that jump right back there. Add 6 on, and he's up at 28.
He said earlier he wasn't sure about Emian's jump of 29-1 earlier, and that he would eat crow if Emian were to beat him here at the championships.
90% of long jumping is the result of speed and technique before the jump.
And Carl just has to run through. Knew he wouldn't hit the board properly.
The steps were off.
To this point, he's only had 1 legal mark. This would be the time to pop one. Mr. Come Through. And once again, Michael Connolly has fouled. Out of 6 attempts tonight, he fouled on 5 of them. He ends up over the board. Mike Connolly, unfortunately, ends up in 8th place.
In 1, Yugoslavia in 2, United States in 3, Kenya's in 4, East Germany in 5, West Germany in 6, Australia in 7, and Jamaica in 8. The running order for the United States: Danny Everett to lead it off, Michael Franks, Raymond Pierre, Antonio McKay to anchor. Danny Everett of the United States in lane 3. 3-turn stagger. Leadoff men stay in their lanes. First exchange. Second runners stay in their lanes around the turn. Then they break for the pole.
And they don't want to be showy, and they don't want to run too hard. They just want to qualify for the final.
The top 3 finishers in this heat, plus the 2 best other times of the 2 semifinal heats, move into the final tomorrow. And Everett running very well, holding his own. This is a long stagger, so it takes a while to kind of sort things out.
It's also a little bit difficult on the runners because they don't have anyone to key against the way they have in their normal races. They just have to try to dole out their effort, come off the turn, and try to get as close as they can to the man in front of them before they hit the exchange zone.
East Germany in lane 5, running well, and that's Jens Karlovitz leading off for East Germany. And they are first at the exchange.
The handoff was pretty much even. Scherzing from East Germany out ahead, but Michael Franks from the United States running well. Good leg speed for Franks. He wants the pole.
And Franks is inside and now has control, and that means that it'll be the United States and then East Germany running 1-2 with Kenya running 3rd. Jamaica's 4th. Australia is 5th.
And keeping this in mind for the final, it looks like Michael Franks is a little bit faster than Scherzing. He's more of a pure sprinter, so we have to bear in mind that on the second leg in the final, the East Germans are the next team to watch. We're going to have a little of an advantage over them.
East German is slowing down. Here comes Kenya in second place. East Germany may be out of it. They are out of the race. No baton. They missed on that exchange. So they are gone. It's the United States running first. Kenya is second. That is Jamaica 3rd. 4th is Heinrich, is running 4th for West Germany.
But it's almost as if Raymond Pierre sensed something was going on, and he just took off. Now he has to not run too hard. Don't lose it here. Save it for the final. You've got a great lead. Just relax now. Relax on the straightaway. And he's tight. I think he was a little excited when he realized that the East Germans were out, maybe gone out a little too hard. He's slowing, but he's maintaining most of his lead.
So East Germany missing on the exchange, dropping the baton. And Thomas Schönleber was their anchor. They were one of the favorites, so they are out of the competition. Antonio McKay of the United States, he's out in front by about 35 meters. Kenya is running second. Jamaica is running third. And West Germany is running fourth. Top three finishers are through to the finals.
Antonio McKay, he's having fun out there now. And there is a certain reason to go fast, because you and your teammates can say, look, we're 2 or 3 seconds faster than anybody else in the field. We can relax in the final, and very often when you're relaxed and not tense, you can run faster.
And the race is going to be for third. It's going to be the United States. Kenya finishes second, Jamaica third, West Germany, if the time is good enough, could well move through to the final.
Max, you hold your hands loose, so he wasn't gripping the baton tightly. He knocks hands with Elijah Bitok, and the baton goes down.
It is not a foul. His teammate, meanwhile, waiting for the exchange, looks back. That's Matthias Schierzing. He says, oh, no, they're out of it.
Medalist from Los Angeles in front of the hometown crowd. And that's a big one for Evangelisti, and he knows it.
No big surprise here, Dwight, in the sense that he was ranked 8th in the world last year in the long jump. This home crowd has certainly helped him here try and nail down third place.
Good speed, good arms, excellent technique on the runway. He goes all the way for it. Excellent height, extension into the pit, and no problem with the board. There's no matter of a foul.
Remember, these athletes are running about 50 yards and trying to put their foot on the end of a toe board and missing sometimes by just 1 or 2 inches. There he gets the distance. 27 feet, 6 inches, moves him into third place.
To go in Los Angeles. Certainly that is going through Larry's mind at this very moment. He's been very close. The crowd did not want him to better Evangelisti's jump, that's for sure.
Watch him down the runway. The legs are brought together after the jump, and he's in the air. Head and shoulders thrown forward and down as he tries to reach for every bit. He got the whole board.
And if he could have willed himself any further, he would have. But 26 feet, 11 inches is not an improvement for Larry Myrick's. And he gets 4th place at the World Championships, gets knocked out once again in a major championship by Giovanni Evangelisti in front of the Rome crowd.
6'2", 170 pounds of great athletic ability.
This is the last chance, folks. Final jump for Carl Lewis. Anytime you see an athlete in the long jump land like that, they probably aren't going to get their best jump. 28 feet, 3 inches for Carl Lewis. Another outstanding, consistent performance for Lewis. He dominates this event. 52 straight victories, sprinting style on the runway. Goes down on the right before the left. Beautiful technique and extension into the pit and lands right on his bottom.
Of the 30 longest long jumps in history, this man owns 23 of them.
Before those last 2 steps, it's just like he's running down lane 4 of the straightaway in 100 meters. And he gets just about all the board. In fact, he missed a 30-foot jump in Indianapolis a few years ago because of a plane foul. No mark in the plasticine. Carl Lewis, once again, the long jump world champion.
Carl Lewis, the longest winning streak currently in track or field, 52nd consecutive win, 4 jumps over 28 feet. Remember Beeman, when he went 29.5, never jumped 28 feet, and Lewis does it 4 times in these championships. Emmy on.
Yeah, Dwight, I came into this meet hoping that I could try to win, defend my titles in the events, and I ran well in the 100. And then earlier this week, I caught a little stomach virus, which has been going around here, so it kind of slowed me down. So I'm pleased to jump that far in the win because there's some great competitors in that competition.
Plus, your performance was very consistent.
Yeah, I jumped well the first 3, and then as time went on, it just started to affect me more. And I'm just glad that I was able to stay relaxed and stay in it, because that enabled me to jump far even at the end. I've had pretty bad luck this year with just different things, but you know, over the past, I've always had great luck. So it's kind of mixing, and I have to prove that I can deal with adversity just like everybody else. So next year, I'm going to really shoot for it, and I think I'll have a better year.
You have a team effort tomorrow. You got the 4x100.
That's going to be fun. As you saw today, the teams are very good. It's going to be a close competition, and we're just going to have to run our best to win. It isn't going to be a cakewalk like the past. So I'm looking forward to being in the middle of the pack instead of always way out front. Hopefully we can have a great race.
Best of luck to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Well, he's been consistently gold. Carl Lewis, who won 3 golds in Helsinki, 4 golds in Los Angeles for the Olympics. He has a silver, and it took a world record to take the gold away from him in the 100 meters and the gold in the long jump. And we'll try to anchor a gold medal winning bid by the U.S. relay team tomorrow. There is the medal count. East Germany with twice as many medals as the United States, 20.
Powerful runner with the red shorts on. She's our leadoff leg. Very good speed out of the blocks. Good pass to Diane Williams, and Diane Williams can take off on the backstretch. Good accelerating speed. Next will be Florence Griffith. She has a great curve. She's a good 200-meter runner. She just flies around the curve very relaxed. Next, we'll be giving off to Pam Marshall. Good pass. That's the key. You just got to get that baton around the track. These girls are fast. They just need to work on their relay passes. And so far, it looks great this year.
With Alice Brown and a great start leading it off, a chance to see how they will do against the Soviet Union. The Soviets not as strong as they have been in the past. A good baton exchange to Diane Williams, and Williams down the long back straight.
Diane Williams has the best speed on the U.S. team. She was 4th in the 100 final. I think the Americans are trying to have a safe pass here. They look fine so far.
Had to reach just a little on that last pass. Pam Marshall will be anchoring for the United States. Antonova will anchor for the Soviet Union.
Pam Marshall has great closing speed. She doesn't have a great start, but she looks very strong here.
And the United States safely moving through with the Soviet Union finishing 2nd, and it's going to be a photo for 3rd.
So that takes us up to...
And pull on East Germany. West Germany is in 7, and France is in 8. The announced running order for the United States team: Alice Brown to lead it off, Diane Williams 2nd, Florence Griffith 3rd, and Pam Marshall will anchor. For the East Germans, Silke Gladish will lead off, Cornelia Ashkenat running 2nd, Kirsten Barrett 3rd, and Marlies Gurr will anchor. The sun is out. Track a little damp but very fast. And here's Silke Gladish.
She is the fastest runner by far of all the field. The trouble is you have to have 4 good runners. She is a dynamite out of the blocks, but East Germany is not at their best. Their 2nd runner had to take the place of Heike Drexler. So it's going to be very interesting. She has a very quick start, Gladish, but it's very hard if you're coming in so fast at the 2nd leg, which is Ashkenat. Sometimes it's hard to handle the pass.
Alice Brown will lead off for the United States.
Alice is a veteran. She's been on relay teams for probably 10 years now. She's also very good out of the blocks. She's very powerful. I don't think she can stay up with Gladish, but she should give us a good first leg.
The Soviet Union is in lane 4 and Canada in lane 3, and those are the choices, along with Bulgaria in 2, although Bulgaria did not look that good in the heats. That should be the chase for 3rd place.
Bulgaria,
go ahead.
Bulgaria in lane 2 was in lane 1 in the semifinals, so that could be a factor. They have 2 very fast runners on the first 2 legs, but then 3rd or 4th are questionable, the 3rd and 4th leg.
Ginka Sergacheva leading off for Bulgaria. Nuneva, Georgieva, Dumerova for Bulgaria, the running order. U.S. in 5, East Germany in 6. And Alice Brown gets a good start and begins already to close a little of the stagger on Gladish. Gladish closing the stagger on West Germany.
Good pass by the Americans. Diane Williams in all white. She loves the straightaway. Look at her go. She's really pumping the arms and getting her knees up. She looks great.
The next exchange, they're even. USA and East Germany.
Florence Griffith in all white. She runs a terrific curve. She can really hug that curve, and that's important.
At the exchange, the USA has the lead. Here comes Pam Marshall. Marley Skird chasing her. She won't catch her today. Unofficial 41:57. That'll be a championship record.
Boy, the Americans are happy. They were dying to beat the East Germans because East Germany is doing so well in this meet. They were up for this relay. It was obvious that the Americans had practiced their baton passes. Florence Griffith coming into Pam Marshall, puts her hand back, perfect. That hand was up just for a split second, and that's what you want because you don't want to hesitate. You want to be in your full running gait, and Pam Marshall looks great.
It's the United States with the gold, East Germany with the silver, Soviet Union with the bronze. Isolated on the U.S. team.
Alice Brown hugging the curb. Look at those arms. She's a very powerful runner. First exchange to Diane Williams. Good. Very good. Diane has beautiful form. And look, she's starting to catch the rest of the field. Very smooth sprinter.
Into Florence Griffith. Another good exchange. The passing of the baton, so important in the 4x100.
And Florence is made for the curve.
And Pam Marshall just flying for the gold.
So this day opens with an upset win for the United States, the first time since 1968 that the U.S. women have beaten the East Germans in a major international meet in this event. They do it without Evelyn Ashford. No baton disaster of Helsinki.
U.S. women's team, you guys were great. Alice, you started it out. Great start, and you didn't lose anything to Zilka Gladish.
I felt pretty good today. I was really trying to work on getting out on the gun because I knew that she had a really good start and she's really fast in the curve. So I was trying to stay with her and try to get as much of a lead as I possibly could.
Now, how did you think your pass between you and Diane was?
It was pretty good. We tried to open it up today, and it really worked for us.
Diane, how about your straightaway?
Oh, it was excellent. I was just mainly concerned about getting out a little bit faster today, and it paid off really well.
How about the pass?
Florence and I, we always have good targets. She was excellent. Of course, you see her running very, very fast right there.
Florence, you cooked this turn.
Thank you. I just wanted to win. I got a silver the other day, and I wanted that gold.
Pam, I know you love to talk, but tell me about that run-in.
Well, I didn't get a gold in 200, so I really wanted to go. I had 3 chances at it, and thank God I got it this time. All right.
After Berlin, I was convinced that you girls would run an American record in this race. Are you a little bit surprised at the time?
Yes, I am, because we were really trying to work on getting the world record. We were close in Berlin without, competition, and so we was really hoping that they were going to really push us and we was going to get it, but unfortunately we didn't, but a gold medal is just as good.
Yay, USA!
How long have you been talking about that victory lap that you took?
Oh, I don't know. For such a long time. So many years, I don't know. It's excellent. I just love it. I love it. Oh, yeah.
You girls were great. Excellent. I bet on you to win this thing, and you came through for me. Thank you very much.
Here comes Carl Lewis to anchor. The Soviet Union in lane 1 is in second place. Lewis is going after the record. He's got to go. 37.86. 37.86 unofficial. It's a world record if it holds. The Americans did it. Emmett King, Willie Gault, Calvin Smith, and Carl Lewis. It takes 4 to set the record, and there they are. Jamaica in 6, West Germany in 7, and Hungary is in 8. The running order for the United States: Lee McRae, Lee McNeil, Harvey Glance, Carl Lewis will be anchoring. Dennis Mitchell has been anchoring. First time that we will see Carl Lewis in the championships in this position.
But that does not mean that Carl Lewis has not been practicing with the team. He is a real workhorse. Carl Lewis has a team concept, and he practices handoffs a lot. Ben Johnson, on the other hand, you get the feeling that he doesn't work out with their team very much. That's why they probably have him on the first leg, because he hasn't practiced taking the baton. It's much easier to put him here. You only have to worry about his handing it off.
And also the advantage of Ben Johnson to start. He has the best start in the world, the fastest reaction time, so you are truly capitalizing on his assets here. He's in lane 4. So the race should be the Soviet Union in 3, and they look great in the semis. Canada in 4, the USA in 5. Lee McRae to lead it off for the United States.
Lee McRae has not been running well in the heats and the semifinal. He was out very slowly. But this is where the coach does something for you. He has faith in you. He says, look, I know you'll run well in the final. I'll leave you in there.
And we've got a false start. Ben Johnson just tried to nudge and come up. And Canada may be charged with the false start. That's the one that we saw. They may call it just against the field and let it go. There is Ben Johnson of Canada and his teammates, Atlee Mahorn, Desai Williams, and Mike Dwyer, who will be anchoring for Canada. And for the Soviet Union, Alexander Yazheniev, Viktor Brezgin, Vladimir Muravyev, and Vladimir Krylov to anchor. They did not charge the false start against anyone. As you know, you're allowed one, and the second one, you are out. Soviet Union in 3, Canada in 4. There's Ben Johnson, 9.83, world record holder in the 100. And the United States in 5, 3, 4, and 5. Johnson with a good start, not his usual great start, but he is closing a little on Lee McRae. Look for the exchange.
It's natural he would close. The U.S. did not get a good exchange, but look at Lee McNeil go.
Right now, Canada, the Soviet Union, and the United States are just about even. Canada not that good an exchange.
There goes Harvey Glantz. Watch him go. Glantz is running well. The Soviets on the inside running well. Carl Lewis against Krylov.
And here they come. Krylov is in front for the Soviet Union. Here comes Carl Lewis from behind for the gold. He's got it. 37.90. Just off of the championship record, number 3 all time.
And the difference in that race was Carl Lewis, because in the semifinal race, Krylov had Dennis Mitchell to deal with. He came off behind. Carl Lewis was behind coming off. He ran Krylov down.
A good exchange. Number 3 all time. Carl Lewis anchored at Helsinki. He anchored at the Olympics, and he anchors here. Those are the top 3.
McRae had a good start, not a great start, but it's adequate, and it gets us out in there. Second leg, Lee McNeil runs the straight very, very well. He's practiced a lot. You always put the man who can run the great straight on there. Hands off to Harvey Glantz, the veteran. Harvey's run more turns than any sprinter in this entire meet, and he hands off just a little bit behind to Carl Lewis. Krylov was behind Dennis Mitchell yesterday and ran him down. Now the roles are reversed. Carl Lewis says, take that back.
It's the United States, the Soviet Union, and Canada finishes 3rd.
The team of McRae, McNeil, Glantz, and Lewis with the gold. Soviet Union is 2nd, despite the fact they had the lead going into the final man, and Jamaica takes...
One of the luckiest guys there are today. I get to interview all of the winners. The 4x1 men's team ran the 3rd fastest time in history. We're going to get a chance to look at the race. I want you guys to analyze it stick pass by stick pass. Lee McRae, you lost absolutely nothing, in my opinion, to Ben Johnson, especially at the exchange.
Well, I just wanted to get out and just run well, run smooth. I've been having a little troubles with maintaining through, so I just wanted to run through the zone as quick as possible.
Lee McNeil, when you got that down the straightaway, you were gone.
Yeah, I was just trying to get it to Harvey, that's it. You know, trying to get strong, just try to catch the guys in front of them. If they're already in front of them, you know, trying to catch them.
Harvey Glantz, one of the oldest sprinters on earth. How did you feel you ran the turn?
Well, I felt real good in the turn. You know, most of the people always see me on the straightaway and they never notice Harvey Glantz on the turn because I never run 200s. But I can run a turn and been on like 4 of the 7 fastest relays ever in history, so I'm very proud to be on the turn.
Carl, you told me yesterday you knew you wouldn't get the stick in front. Is it better for you to have to try to run somebody down?
Well, I knew that the Soviets were we knew they were a good team, and we felt that their stick passing and their legs just enabled them to have a good 3 legs. But for me, it's better because the teams in the past have always given me a big lead, and I'm just running. And I feel like at least today I can contribute to the performance, and that's the best thing about it.
Is the general idea here that unless you guys drop the stick or have terrible passes, there's nobody in the world that can beat you?
Well, there's no one can stand with us, man for man. That's for sure. People have tried different methods to try to beat us, and you see the Russians try to do it with stick passes, but we always come through with the speed, and America's known for speed, and I think it'll always stay there.
Congratulations, you guys, an outstanding performance.
The women were up here on day 9 of track and field. This is Petra Falke of East Germany. The men's javelin has been changed so it doesn't go as far. The women's has not. Falke, 5 feet 8, 140 pounds of power, has 3 times broken the world record. She presses the envelope a little bit. She leads in round 1 with a throw of 230 feet, 8 inches. This is Beate Peters of West Germany, 6th ranked in the world last year. This is her first throw. Putting a little pressure on Falke. She throws 225 feet, 9 inches, almost exactly 75 yards. This is round 2. Falke again. And the spear travels out past her last throw. She pushes out further into the lead, 235 feet, 5 inches for a new World Championship record. Here's the woman who ranked ahead of her last year in the world rankings. This is Fatima Whitbread of West Germany, of Great Britain. 234 feet, 1 inch to move into second place. The 2 chopped javelin. White considered in the sport the best competitor.
She knows she got a good one on that throw.
The motion is very similar to a pitcher throwing a baseball. He drops down on the mound, his right knee bends if he's throwing right-handed, and the left leg acts as a brake. Watch her right knee. She bends down, drops. Notice the left leg act as the brake.
240 feet even to take the lead and set a new championship record. She loves it. She and Falke have had competitions where they trade the lead back and forth for years. Now, up in the 5th round, Fatima Whitbread, once again, Falke was unable to improve on Whitbread's throw. And she's beyond the final line. An improvement over her 4th round throw.
Watch her move forward. I've mentioned before the power that the legs possess in this event. You try and have the upper body whip forward, get the spear directly behind the ear. Watch the follow-through. 7.5 feet, the length of that spear.
251.5, over an 11-foot improvement, another championship record. Falke will have to really reach back to do anything here. Petra Falke, the world record holder in this event. You can see she is really beat up. Elbow, hamstring, and knee. .234 feet, 9 inches on her final throw. She gets the silver.
So the official results: women's javelin, Fatima Whitbread of Great Britain, 251.5. Petra Falke, East Germany, is 2nd, and the bronze to the West German Beate Peters. Tina Lilak of Finland, who won it in Helsinki, finished 6th. Now let's go back to the marathon.
Every intelligent human being knows that it's impossible to be a playboy and a world record holder in high jump. I mean, I would be glad if that worked, but I know if you want to be a world record holder in high jump, you have to train. And I think it started in Sweden that some wrote that I was more entertainer than athlete, and then the next newspaper took it up and so on, and now I can read it in every country. And now it's like I never train. I spend my nights in the nightclub. I spend my day in my Porsche, and sometimes I compete and break the world record. And I mean, that's funny, but I mean, it's not true.
Anybody who's as good as Patrik Sjöberg of Sweden cannot spend that kind of time doing anything else but training for the high jump. The bar at 7 feet 8.5 inches, and he makes it on his very first attempt to stay in the lead. A new world championship record for Patrik Sjöberg of Sweden. He has a very short run-up, Larry, by comparison to a lot of the jumpers. He just feels that the speed he generates in that short period of time, he can control very, very well.
Right, that's a great point, because I think it's true. Long jumpers pick up 66 feet, and they're at 95% total speed capability. You don't need all that distance.
Makes it with a little bit of a brush at the end. Let's go back to Charlie and more men's marathon. From Los Angeles, up for his first jump at 7, 8.5. He has had no misses through the competition, the same as Sjöberg. If he makes this, he will stay in a first-place tie with Patrik Sjöberg of Sweden.
Right, up at this height of 7 feet 8 inches plus, what is the margin for error? You run up to 65 feet. How far off can he be in his last step and still make it?
Dietmar and Patrik are both over 6, 6.5 tall. They generate a lot of speed, as you can see right here, in a very short period of time. Because they're so tall, they can have a larger margin of error, 5 or 6 inches, too close or too far away, even at this height, and get their height right on top of the bar. When you're shorter than that, you have a much bigger margin of error, and you can't afford to be off by any more than a couple of inches. Back with the men's 1,500-meter final. And this is Igor Paklin of the Soviet Union, up for his second attempt at this height. He was the world indoor champion from Indianapolis and the former world record holder at 7 feet 10 3/4 inches. And he is over cleanly at 7, 8.5.
Right, one difficulty in this event I never hear talked about is every time the bar is raised and you go higher, you must bring more speed to the bar, and your last step changes, doesn't it?
Exactly, and Paklin has a very long run-up. As you can see, his run-up must be 90 feet long. He gets it in nowhere. It's 13 or 14 strides long, so the chance for error multiplies, but he got his height right on top of the bar at 7, 8.5, a very nice clearance. You can see here, hits the vertical very nicely, arches over the bar, height right on top of the bar. A very, very good jump for Paklin. That puts him right back into the hunt. Let's go up to Charlie Jones and the start of the men's 1,500-meter final.
The world record in the men's 1,500 meters, Saida Ueda holds it, 3:29.46. Top 5 all-time performances, Saida Ueda, Steve Cram, Saida Ueda again, Sydney Marie, and Sebastian Coe. Here are the lane assignments. Kipkoech Shirui out of Kenya is in lane 1. Steve Scott of the United States is in 2. Michael Hilliard of Australia is in 3. Jim Spivey of the United States is in 4. Joseph Cheshire of Kenya is in 5. Jose Luis Gonzalez of Spain is in 6. Abdibile Somalia is in 7. Steve Cram of Great Britain is in 8. Han Kulker of Holland is in 9. Omer Khalafi of Sudan is in 10. Jens Peter Harrell of East Germany is 11. And Rémi Chaffois of France is outside in lane 12.
This is Steve Scott. Everyone in the world is here, and this is Steve Scott's chance to redeem himself from 4 years ago when he was the silver medalist behind Steve Cram.
And Steve Cram, former world record holder. Many feel the favorite here, but it's such a strong field that we could end up with a blanket finish. You mentioned that before.
Steve Cram is not in as good a shape as he's been in the past. He feels he has to take it out at some point in the race to take the sting out of people.
Abdibile looking very good in the semifinals. Here we go. This is the final. And Michael Hilliard of Australia challenges for the early lead.
And he's taken the pace out before, but this is Shiruyat taking the lead and then starting to jog. Tactical race right from the start.
Omar Khalifa with the lead, and now it is Rémi Chaffois of France with the lead. And meanwhile, Steve Scott is tucked his way into second, and Jim Spivey of the United States is right behind Steve Scott with Hilliard, and then the East German Jens Peter Harrow.
They're just jogging along. It's going to be a typical European race, which in a way is too bad because this is as good a field as you could assemble in the world today. Everyone is here. No one's absent. Everyone who's fit, in condition, ready to race is in this final.
3 to go. Who has the best kick?
I think DeBeely, who is in last place, seemed to me to have the best kick. If Steve Cram were totally fit, I think he would be the fastest man, but he's not. So it's DeBeely in the back, and at this point, they're playing right into his hands. 63 seconds for the first 400 meters. That's very slow.
Steve Scott with a strong kick, a long, strong kick. Sometimes he's kicked as far as 600 meters out, a lap and a half. Can he do that here as Cram moves up in front, 4:23?
Well, Cram is showing us that he does feel he needs a fast pace, and this really works against him. No one wants to be leading this early.
And it is Jose Luis Gonzalez of Spain that pulls up behind Cram, and he beat him earlier this year, nipping him right at the tape. And Omer Khalafi is running now second as he moves past Gonzalez.
Steve Cram is in fourth, and here comes Sharuiat up on the outside. He's going to take the lead with 2 laps to go.
That's Joseph Cheshire of Kenya. The two Kenyans, Cheshire has no socks, and Sharuiat is wearing socks. It's the only way you can tell them apart from a distance. And so it is Joseph Cheshire of Kenya now with the lead as Steve Cram is running just behind him. Jose Luis Gonzalez is running third.
60 seconds for that 400 meters, so they're starting to speed up. And Steve Cram now looks in better position, but DeBeely on the outside in the light blue and white looks in very good position. Now they're just positioning themselves. They're not running that fast, they're just kind of jockeying literally for position for the sprint. No one wants to be boxed, no one wants to get cut off. They've got a little over a lap to go, and there goes Cram. He's taking it with 500 meters to go. This is as far out as you ever want to do it in this kind of race. Gonzalez going right with it.
And it is Steve Cram, Jose Luis Gonzalez. It is Cheshire. And here comes Abdi Bili. Abdi Bili of Somalia moving outside, challenging for second, and he's going to go after Cram. It is Cram and Abdi Bili and Gonzalez. They have broken away. It's down to 3 people right now.
And Abdi Bili looks in good position. Look how much more relaxed he is. 2:57 for 1,200 meters. That means a 57-second lap. I think it's all over for Steve Cram, but he's got a lot of heart. DeBeely looks much better. Gonzalez looks good. Cram is out of it. He's gone. Here comes DeBeely, and if Gonzalez can catch him, he'll win. But DeBeely, who looked the best in the semifinals, is going to run away with this.
Abdi Bili of Somalia, Jose Luis Gonzalez of Spain is not going to be able to catch him. The battle right now is going to be for third place. Bili has the gold. Gonzalez has the silver, and Jim Spivey of the United States coming from out of the back to capture the bronze medal.
51 seconds for that last lap for Abdi Bili. A wonderful last lap after heat, semifinals, and finals. He looked so good in his trial races. You had a feeling he was on. He peaked right at the right time. Look how much more relaxed he is. His arms, he hasn't even gone to his arms yet. He's just floating along behind Cram. Look how much harder Cram's working. And then DeBeely, now he goes for his arms. Look at his leg rate go up. It's all over for Cram. Cram ran a heroic race. He knew he had to do it, but he played right into DeBeely's hands. Gonzalez, who many thought was the fastest sprinter in the field, doesn't have a chance. He knows it. He looks around. DeBeely runs a wonderful race. He is now the best 1,500-meter runner in the world, without a doubt.
Abdi Bili, a student at George Mason University, an unofficial 3:36.81.
Is the defending champion from Helsinki, Gennady Avdiyenko of the Soviet Union. 6 feet 8 inches this man stands from head to toe. And did you see that clearance? He hit it with his feet, but his hips must have been 3 inches over at 7, 8.5, Larry.
Why does he start so far out? I mean, we talked about that, but why do the Russians?
This guy's run-up isn't as bar back as Pak leans. And he gets into it right here. He has about an 8-step approach, but the man is 6 feet 8 inches tall. He can really plant far away from the bar, and on this one, he really does plant too far away, and he gets lucky because he hits the bar on the way down. If he has his height right over the bar, that's a clearance perhaps in excess of the current world record.
Now, by touching the bar with his calves, did he start his plant a little too far out?
Definitely. In fact, he has been a little bit too far out the entire afternoon, but he's over at 7, 8.5 and in the hunt for the medals. Back with more from Rome of Sweden for his first attempt at 7 feet 9 3/4. 4 men over 7, 8.5. That's a record for depth in this event. Someone's not going to get a medal and have jumped 7, 8.5. And Sjoberg, huge clearance at 7, 9 3/4. A new championship record. You can tell he thinks that just might be enough. The world record holder indoors and out, Patrik Sjoberg of Sweden. 7, 9 3/4. Very first attempt. That puts a lot of pressure on the remaining athletes in this event. Great speed. Gets his height right on top of the bar, the slightest little brush. And he loves it. Runs the turn well, good arms. And his hips right on top, just a little brush with the calf. Patrik Sjoberg, another championship record. He is in a good lead. He's putting a lot of pressure on this field.
Oh.
East Germany has 3, the United States 1, and the Soviet Union has 1. The lane assignments. Jamaica is in 1, Bulgaria is in 2, East Germany 3, the Soviet Union is in 4, United States is in 5, Canada in 6, West Germany is in 7, and France is in 8. The running order for the United States: Diane Dixon to lead off, Deneen Howard, Valerie Briscoe, and Lily Leatherwood King to anchor.
Diane Dixon is the leadoff leg for the United States. She's had a little problems with injury lately. You can see on her right foot, it's taped up. She's had Achilles problems. So that might be a factor in the start because you really had to push out of the block. So we hope she is okay, but she's been treating that all week.
We had a little delay because we had to wait for one of the high jumpers who was starting actually outside where lane 9 is. Came across with his attempt, and now we're set to go. The final of the women's 4x400 relay. It's a 3-turn stagger, a wide stagger. Now, the leadoff runners will stay in their lanes to the first exchange. The second runners will stay in their lanes around the turn again, and then they will break for the pole. East Germany, and they have changed their, that is not Immermann, that is Dagmar Neubauer. They have changed their running order as Immermann is going to run second. Petra Mueller is scheduled to run third, and Sabina Bush is going to anchor, and that's the last-minute change that we just have received.
And that's going to be a factor because Sabina Bush is a very quick 400-meter runner. She won the 400-meter hurdles race, so that could put a scare into the Americans because she is quick over the last 200.
And again, those that not that familiar with the relays, you nominate 6 runners. You can use any 4 during any given race.
This is hard on the women because they've been standing around. You want to stay loose, and they're so nervous. They just want to get in the blocks and have that gun start.
Here we go. Jamaica in 1, Bulgaria in 2, East Germany in 3, the Soviet Union in 4, United States in 5, Canada in 6, West Germany in 7, and France is outside in lane 8. And Diane Dixon gets a pretty good start. As everybody stays even. Dixon closing just a little bit of the stagger, and right now I would say she has the early lead.
Diane Dixon is the type of competitor that really goes after it. She's only 22 years old, but she's been around for a long time, and she says that she loves the 4x400 relay more than the open 400.
Closing the stagger on Charmaine Crooks of Canada, their leadoff runner.
This is a hard leg because the first leg is the slowest because you do have to start out of blocks. Another thing that's hard about it is that you are in lanes the whole way around. It's hard to tell where you are in the race.
France outside, and then that's lane 8, and then from left to right it's West Germany, Canada, the United States, Soviet Union, East Germany, Bulgaria, Jamaica, as you move across the screen from left to right. Now to the second runners, Deneen Howard running second for the United States, in their lanes. When they finish this turn, they'll break for the pole, and we will have more of a read on how the race is going.
Diane Dixon's was 51.1 for her 400 meters. That's pretty good. We need to get down to around the 50 or below. But we see the East Germans are in the lead right here. Hopefully, Deneen can just look at this East German and try to relax. It's a lot easier when you are in second because you're not in front breaking the wind. Deneen Howard does look good right here.
Kirsten Immelmann of East Germany is leading. The United States is running second. Nazarova of the Soviet Union, Olga Nazarova of the Soviet Union is running third. Now she challenges for second.
Deneen is going to her arms because you don't want to slow down here because that really can affect the pass.
And the United States gets trapped on the exchange outside. She should have moved inside on the exchange, and that cost her a couple of steps. East Germany now opens the margin. Bad exchange for the United States.
Deneen ran fast, 50.2. That's our quickest leg so far, but you can see how the exchange zone can really foul up the baton passes.
And that is Valerie Briscoe of the United States. Now she is in third place, and she is chasing Maria Pinagina of the Soviet Union, who is in second. Meanwhile, Petra Mueller of East Germany is out in front going for the goal.
Hopefully off the curve, Valerie knows that she's going to have to make a break. She's going to have to go for the East Germans because they have a big lead here. Valerie's going to her arms, but she does look a little tight.
So it is East Germany, the Soviet Union, and the United States in that order. Canada is back in fourth right now, should anything happen to the top three. And in fifth, it's West Germany. Now we come to the anchor.
Lily Leatherwood King in all white. She's got to go after it. Now, she's the type of runner, Charlie, that she likes to come from behind. She's always, everyone knows that Lily goes out slow and then really goes all out the last 200. So let's see if she can do it.
Sabina Bush of East Germany is leading. Anchoring for the Soviet Union's Olga Brizgina and Lily Leatherwood King of the United States, and they begin to close together.
This is going to be tight because Brizgina from the Soviet Union won the open 400. She's very quick. Lily looks like she was trying to gain on her, but this is very hard because Lily is not quite as quick as the two women in front of her.
United States is going to settle for third. The question now, can the Soviets challenge East Germany? They cannot. Sabina Bush will take the goal for the East German. Soviet second. United States coming in third. An unofficial 3:18.63.
That's great. That's a fabulous time. It's under 50 seconds per woman.
And that is the world leading time this year and a new championship record. The United States lost their chance at this exchange. Valerie should have changed places with the Soviet runner rather than reaching across.
That's kind of like a rookie mistake. You know, you can move in any time. They're trying to change that rule, but Valerie could have moved in. And that's so hard on Deneen. You're so tight trying to come in, and then trying to find Valerie is tough.
So it's been a disappointing outing for the United States, but a glorious one for the East Germans as they add more gold.
You're right there, Dick. Nothing has been settled here. Schoberg has made his first jump at 7.9 3/4. This is Packleen's third attempt at that height. And he's over. He doesn't even touch it. His 10th jump of the competition, and it's his best effort of the night. He's even too tired to celebrate.
Dwight, I don't think there's ever been a competition where there's been so many athletes jumping so high.
There's no doubt about that, Larry. There's 4 guys over 7.8.5. Now there are 2 over 7.9 3/4. Packleen, just a beautiful jump. His height right on top of the bar and an inch to an inch and a half clearance. And he's so tired. This competition has been so very long. He runs the turn very, very well. Snaps the left leg up very hard. Great arch, tremendous extension over the bar. Clear daylight all the round just below his bottom. Outstanding jump. But he'll have to jump the next height in order to catch Schoberg. Let's go back out to the marathon course with Charlie, the defending world champion. And the bar stays on, and he's the 3rd athlete to clear this height. Another record for depth in the high jump. 3 men over 7 feet, 9 3/4 inches.
He took the silver medal indoors, Dwight, with a height 7.9 3/4. He's the defending world champion.
He certainly does know how to get up for the big ones. and he's so far over the bar, but he's in front of the bar. Very fortunate for that bar to have stayed on. He hit it a good lick on the way down, but it stays on for him.
Now, when he hits it on the way down, his step, his plan, his last step, is a little too far out, correct?
Exactly. The entire evening, he has had trouble getting his step close enough to the bar. If he makes that adjustment, there's no telling what he might do.
He's that close. Go ahead.
Every piece of flesh he has that can have a goosebump on it is going to have one when he gets into the stadium.
Here is the first great moment. This is Wakihuru coming into the stadium as he is being greeted as he pops his way through the tunnel. And on the diamond vision of the stadium, they still do not realize that Bourdin is challenging for third.
Here's the winner, clear winner, Wakihuru, but he's going very well. I have a watch on him for about 110 yards, and he's going about 440 mile pace here, so he's elated. He's picking it up. He had more in him than this race. But it always feels better when you're winning. You always think you could have gone faster.
And out of the tunnel, Ahmad Salah of Djibouti in second place.
He's won a couple of races, but now he's starting to finish second and third more often.
Again, we watch the champion, and we await the arrival of Moneghetti and Bourdin.
And they must have arrived because we can hear the cheer. And that's not for Wakihuru. That's for Bourdin, who must have entered the stadium.
Meanwhile, our camera is still on Douglas Wakihuru of Kenya as he will cross the finish line and capture the gold medal.
Well-deserved race. This man trained and peaked for this race. And the winner always looks so refreshed. And they get worse and worse as they finish. Sometimes second is the worst place to finish, though. A complete unknown. Ahmed Salah, who we all know about, doesn't have that lift in that sprint we saw in the World Championship before, where he ran about 65 seconds for his final 400 meters. He's just coming home in second place, looking over his shoulder, because Bourdin is very close to him.
And there's the silver medal. And Bourdin has passed Moneghetti and Bourdin of Italy with the bronze.
He was the third Italian, not favored. Bettiol and Pizzolato were better known, but when it really counted, this man came through. He's as happy as the winner.
And there is the champion, Douglas Wakihuru of Kenya. We'll be back in a moment. For the break.
And Sidney Marie seems to be laboring. He's at the back of the front pack, but sometimes that's deceptive with Sidney. Sidney runs better when he's moving fast rather than slowly, but they're beginning to pull away from him. Sidney is starting to drop off. This is not good. He should get back up with that pack. Get back up there, Sidney. There, he's moving back up.
He's running 11th right now. And there is the lead pack.
John Ngugi showing a lot of confidence being out there in front. Saeed Owita saying, okay, I'll play your chess game. I'll go on your shoulder. You move first, I'll go second.
Little bumping. It's all right. Nobody went down.
63 seconds for that 400 meters. That's the fastest of the race, so they're starting to build, but they should be because the sprint's going to start.
And here comes Domingo Castro of Portugal from the outside, and he does have a good kick. He is number 770. Pierre Deleuze, 826, is also trying to move up.
And there goes Owita taking the lead.
And the race finally begins.
And Owita really puts the hammer down. Look at him go. Ignatov from Bulgaria, Castro in third, a big surprise.
And here comes Domingo Castro in second. That is Pierre Deleuze of Switzerland in third, and then Buckner is in fourth, but striding out is Saeed Owita.
But don't count out Deleuze. Deleuze is very fast, but now Owita is really putting it down.
Domingos Castro of Portugal trying to stay with him. Deleuze is running in third. And here comes Saeed Owita down the final straight. The battle now is for second. Saeed Owita has the go. It is Castro. Here comes. Is that Buckner? Yes. Jack Buckner. Saeed Owita with the gold.
53 seconds for his last 400 meters. He ran along very, very easily till 400 meters to go. 53 seconds. I don't think his leg bothered him at all.
Final attempt at 7 feet, 10.5 inches. Igor Paklin of the Soviet Union. An outstanding attempt, his 13th jump of the night, and to think that he's up that high after a 3-hour competition, it's unbelievable the shape and the form that this man is in.
Well, he's 6 feet 3 1/4 inches, and most of his competitors keep getting taller and taller in the last few years.
Larry, he's one of the shorter men in the high jump right now. His teammate Avdiyenko is 6'8", Mogenberg is 6'7", Schoberg is 6'7", but this guy does such good things on the ground. He has a long run-up. He creates a lot of speed, a lot of torque here at the plant, and he has outstanding extension over the bar. I think if they had gotten to this height faster, he might have made it.
He showed fatigue coming down on the bar there, didn't he?
Exactly. He just couldn't hold it for any longer than that. Now he has to wait to see if he's going to be third or if he can tie for the bronze medal.
No world record this afternoon in Rome, but an elegant sprint, Morocco's first medal here. Domingos Castro, a brave run for second. He's from Portugal, and Jack Buckner of Great Britain took
7 feet 10.5 inches. This is Patrick Sjöberg of Sweden. He is the leader in this event. And not to be tonight. Good height, but not quite enough. The only misses he had in this entire competition were at this height. He was flawless up until this point, Larry.
Right, it's amazing to me, the first time they ever started keeping pole vault world records, the height was 8 feet. Here we are attempting that right now. We're knocking on the door.
There's no doubt that it'll be done in the next couple of years. We have some very tall athletes in this event. Patrick is one of them. He's in excess of 6'6.5". Avdiyenko is 6 feet 8, and the average height of the high jumpers these days is in excess of 6'5.5". He was just a little off of center on this particular jump, hits it on the way down. He had the height in front of the bar, but as the competition grows longer and longer, it takes more and more energy to be able to hold that height for that period of time. A very, very good attempt. And defending world champion has the final attempt of this competition. He makes it, he wins. If he misses, he ties with his teammate Paklin for the silver medal, and Schoberg will be the winner. And once again, another athlete after 3.5 hours with the possibility, the energy, the ability to make 7 feet 10.5 inches after a competition in which they jumped more than 11 times. Avdiyenko, again, 6 feet 8 inches tall. Takes about an 8-step approach, but he gets so much velocity because he's such a large man. You can see there his hips were high enough to make that height, but as has been the case the last 3 or 4 jumps, he's just been too far away from the bar. Gennady Avdiyenko and Paklin tie for the silver, and Patrick Sjöberg of Sweden is the world champion.
Share the silver, Igor Pac-Man Paklin and Gennady Avdiyenko of the Soviet Union. Well over a foot above their heads. And
the United States has 4 of them. Great Britain has number 5. Here are the lane assignments. The Soviet Union is in lane 1. West Germany is in 2. Kenya in 3. The United States in 4. Cuba in 5. Jamaica is in 6. Great Britain is in 7. And lane 8 is open. Nigeria scheduled to be there. They are a no-show. United States team, and this is the first time we've seen the team in this order. Danny Everett will lead it off. Roddy Haley running second. Antonio McKay, who has been anchoring, will be running third, and Butch Reynolds will be anchoring. Danny Everett. Everett to lead it off.
The U.S. shouldn't have any trouble in this race if they all run well. And I think they can all average in the 44-second range per leg, so the record could be in jeopardy, but the world record was set at altitude, and there really is an advantage to running 400 meters at altitude. Also, it's come at the end of a long, long week for these athletes, so we'll have to see how tired they are, but they should win the race.
The U.S., by the way, ran the 4th best all-time yesterday in the semifinals, and they did it without Butch Reynolds anchoring. 3-turn stagger, a long stagger, so that means the leadoff runners will be in their lanes through the first exchange, the second runners in their lanes around the curve, and then they will break for the pole. For the United States, it is Danny Everett leading off.
Danny Everett not running that well, but it's hard to tell at this point in the relay. All they want from him is 45 seconds, 45.2, just a solid leg to hand off so that they can get the lead after they've come around the third turn.
And in a lot of respects, this is the hardest leg to run. For one thing, you come out of the blocks. The other is that the excitement has not built. This is like the opening act.
But the thing about the relays is, it is a team situation, and you don't want to let your teammates down. You want to run all out. You never give up in the relays.
Great Britain running outside in lane 7. We'll look at the exchange, and Great Britain right now is in first place ahead of the United States. Chris Akabuzi is running the second leg for Great Britain, and for the United States it is Roddy Haley, and Haley makes up the ground, and now they'll break for the pole.
And Danny Everett ran 45.1 for his first leg. That's right what they wanted. They're right on schedule.
United States, Great Britain, West Germany is running third.
Roddy Haley beginning to pull away. Let's see if he can hold it on the straightaway.
One of the runners went down on the far turn. And it was the Soviet Union that went down. East Germans dropped a baton in the semifinals yesterday, and a Soviet Union runner goes down here. There's the jogging at the exchange. United States in the lead. Great Britain is running second. West Germany is running third.
Antonio McKay running out there. But Roger Black from Great Britain is their best runner. He's been hurt this year, but he's their fastest. And look at him. He's not letting McKay get away.
Cuba is running fourth. Now Cuba is running third as they move into third.
Roddy Haley ran 43.9 for his relay leg. They are really moving. The record's in reach, but look at Roger Black come back on Antonio McKay.
It is the United States, Great Britain, and then the battle for third place.
Oh, is McKay tough? Look at him pull away. Now Butch Reynolds.
Butch Reynolds to anchor. For Great Britain, the anchor is Phil Brown.
And this is for the record. Antonio McKay, 44.3, right in there. If Reynolds can run the way he did earlier this year, they've got a shot. He wants to redeem himself.
He's out in front by 15 meters, and there's the trio chasing the leader.
Butch Reynolds running for the record. They've won the race. Now, can he redeem himself?
Reynolds off of the turn, down the final straight. Great Britain is running second. Cuba is running third. And West Germany is running fourth. It'll be the United States, Great Britain, Cuba, West Germany, and Kenya, followed by Jamaica. And back at the top of the straight, the lonely Soviet runner who fell works his way down the track.
The United States had 3/4 of a world record race. The last 3 legs all ran about 44 seconds flat, which is what you needed to set the record. But Danny Everett, remember, starting out, you can't go that fast out of the blocks. The other runners had the flying start. With a little bit faster start, they might have had the record, but this is an incredible effort at sea level.
An unofficial 2:57.31 second all-time. It would be a sea level world record.
Butch Reynolds running for his friends here. He knows that they gave him the kind of lead and time he needed to set a record, and he's not going to let them down. He is running as hard or harder than he did in the 400 final. He ran 44 flat for his leg. Very, very, very good. Roddy Haley, though, 43.9, incredible leg. The U.S. really wanted to set the record here. Here on the backstretch, the Soviet runner on the inside, he just locks legs with the Kenyan runner and goes down.
And the 4 celebrate the goal as they wrap up the running events of the Second World Championship.
Faster than this quartet today. Great Britain, their 6th medal here in Rome, takes the silver in Cuba, the bronze, the team of Danny Everett, UCLA, Roddy Haley, Texarkana, Antonio McKay of Atlanta, Georgia, and Butch Reynolds of Ohio State with the gold. Butch Reynolds, who said earlier that having that USA across his chest was like a good tickle. Well, he must be tickled, red, white, and blue. The winners are with Dwight.
I'm here with the victorious men's 4x400 relay team who have just run the 2nd fastest time in history. Antonio, when you got the stick, I was concerned about the kind of year you've had this year and whether you were going to be able to put it together and keep it out in front, and you really broke it open.
Well, I felt like, you know, the team had worked so hard, and this hasn't been really a great season for me in the last part. But I knew I had a great relay left in me, and I'm just going to get ready for the next quarter. Butch finished it off well, and Danny got out well, and Haley gave me a lead, and I just couldn't let it go.
Butch, after all the races you've had this year, that 400 that was so tough on you, those rounds, has to be satisfying to have brought that baton home in first place.
Well, yeah, it's different when you run with a team and you feel that enthusiasm and the crowd is going, and neither one of us want to let each other down, so we just try to go out there and do our best.
Danny, you know you had to take it out.
Yeah, that's basically my problem, is getting out. So this race, I tried to focus on getting out, and I think I did. I feel like I did a little better job, but I feel I got us in there, which got us second fastest time in history, so I'm satisfied.
Roddy, a great end to a great season.
Well, yeah. You know, I was looking forward to running at this meet with these guys, you know. I felt like we could run a fast time. And all week, we've been talking about going 2:56, you know. And I feel like we've done a good job trying, you know.
You guys did a great job. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, Dwight.
Well, the
Standing season during July and August in Europe. She lays out pretty cleanly at 6'4". Actually, not a very severe height for her to attempt. She's been up to 6'7" this season.
That's why I was surprised when she had a miss early at 6'2 3/4", but it looks like she made the adjustment, and she's okay.
Has the wind been a factor today?
No doubt about it.
Be troubled here. 6'4" is just about as high as she has cleared this year. She's been up to 6'5". This is Colleen Summer from the United States attempting 6'4". This is her third and final attempt.
Very easy clearance. She made a little stutter step a few feet before the bar, and that's because of the wind. They can feel themselves coming in too fast, maybe a little bit too slow, and they make the adjustment.
Dwight, as we look at the picture, the wind's been coming from the right part of the stadium to the left. Would that have helped her in that jump, since she jumps off her right foot?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. But she's over that. She looks as though she's adjusted to it, and now it's just a matter of getting very, very comfortable. We'll be right.
That's a barrier that athletes love to break. So all these three women are running very well. Atlee from Jamaica in the middle lane has been consistently under 11 seconds this year. She trains in America. She went to Nebraska. She lives in the United States, but she is Jamaican.
And it is Silke Gladish with a great start. She just explodes out of the blocks in lane 4. And it is Gladish, and pulling along with her is Merlene Atlee and Isa Yinko. And it looks as if Pam Marshall in lane 3 may have finished in 4th and moved through to the finals.
Silke Gladish seems like she just jumps out of the block right in the middle of your screen. Another key factor is that she has good body lean right there. You don't want to be straight up. You want your momentum to go forward. She has that all the way. Merlene's coming up slightly, but not enough to catch her at the finish line.
We'll take another look at Silke Gladish.
On the right of your screen, she's out very quickly. She's a short girl with stocky legs. She can get into a running pattern much quicker than the taller Merlene Atlee in the middle there. Look at her arms. That's a key in sprinting. You've got to use your arms. She uses them very well. She's relaxed. Even though she's sprinting all out, her shoulders are down, and that helped her, I think, run such a good time here.
And her time, 10:82. A great time it is, though.
Drexler start on the far right. She's really been working on this, and she's gotten a lot faster out of the block. She has an unusual looking start.
Drexler in lane 3. Diane Williams is next to her in the United States in 4. Nuneva, Bulgaria is in 5. And Drexler gets a terrible start. She is left in the blocks. It is Diane Williams. And now coming outside is Nuneva. And now here comes Heike Drexler. And Drexler, coming off with a terrible start, comes through to win the semifinal and move through.
Charlie, like I was saying earlier, she's got a new start, but you can tell she's all coiled down with her arms very bent here. That's unusual. But as we see here, she hesitates coming out of the blocks, and you cannot do that. Look how far back she is. Nuneva in the middle of your screen with a red top and white shorts. So she led the world this year early in 10:86. She's out very quickly. But Diane Williams in between those two with all white on, she's making up some ground here. She had the bronze in Helsinki, but Heike Drexler, she passes everybody the last 30 meters and looked wonderful. Here we see her on the right of your screen. She looks like she hesitated. I don't know if she thought it was a false start or what, but she was out slow. Nuneva has a wonderful start. Here we go. Heike Drexler gets into full gear right here. Good arm swing. She keeps her arms low. She's 5'11" tall, so she's very tall, but she gets going in the middle there. Very mechanical, but she also stays relaxed throughout the whole 100 meters, which is hard to do with that terrible start.
He's in lane 2. Again, lane 1 is open.
Edwin should have no trouble in this heat, but he's still fun to watch because he's the best hurdler in history. He just goes over the barriers so well.
And already he begins to close the stagger on Martin Gillingham of Great Britain, who is in lane 3 just to his right.
Charlie, unlike some of the flat races where in the early rounds athletes back off, you can't really do that so much in the hurdles because if you do, it throws your steps off. So you have to run fairly hard every race, so he'll win this by a whole bunch, not because he's hot dogging, the same number of steps between each hurdle. They're all meted out. He runs the exact same distance on each stride, and he's just fun to watch because technically he's the best person that's ever been in this event.
An unofficial 49.03 for Edwin Moses.
Right as you are, Louise Ritter up for her 3rd attempt at 6 feet 5 inches. When we last were speaking to you, she had a very easy make at 6 feet 4 inches.
Right, she didn't look good on her earlier attempts either at this height. 6 feet 5, Louise, I'm sure, major disappointment and a big surprise for track and field fans.
Right here, you can see that she is bearing down so hard. This is so important to her. This is an intermediate height for Louise Ritter, the way she's been jumping this season. She hits it on the way up. Extremely disappointed. She ends up in 8th place. Not a fate that we would have expected from Louise Ritter.
Colleen Summer, America's last hope. This is her 3rd and last attempt at 6 feet 5.
Larry, as you mentioned earlier, she's pretty much in over her head at 6 feet 5 this year. However, she had a better last attempt than did Louise. But those are our 2 American girls. They are out of the competition really before the competition has had a chance to heat up.
That's a good best in the world. The sprint starts.
Exactly. As you can see here, she gets off the ground nicely, but with the wind and everything else, she hits the bar on her way down. This is Suzanne Bayer of East Germany, who has been jumping extremely well just in the last couple of weeks inside of East Germany. She really hasn't had a lot of opportunities to compete outside of the country.
She was not rated among the top 50 high jumpers in the world last year. Here she is among the top 6 in the sport now. Nice clearance at 6'6 1/4. That was her 2nd attempt. She may be in the medal hunt with that particular attempt. That was a very fine jump. Suzanne Bayer over 6 feet 6 1/4 inches. Very good control here, as do all the East Germans. Very nice height right on top of the bar.
And meanwhile, fashion, he shouldn't have much trouble qualifying. We're at the final. He wouldn't be able to see anyone. Here, where the opposition really isn't that good, if he stays relaxed, just runs his race, he'll be fine.
Not only is he out in lane 8 where you cannot see anybody to pull on, lane 7 to his left is open. So in reality, the next runner is 2 staggers back in lane 6. And that's Ochako of Kenya. One of the ways when you're watching this to see who is leading, of course, is just to pick out like the 3rd or 4th flight of hurdles and see whose leg goes up first going after it. And as you can see now, it is Danny Harris way outside who has the lead. But Max Robertson in lane 2 of Great Britain is also running very well, and he has closed his stagger on lane 3.
Oh, and Danny Harris had to chop his steps on that hurdle, so they're going to catch him a little bit. Robertson in lane 3 is the next best runner in this field on time.
Robertson, he's in lane 2, Frank.
Oh, lane 2.
And outside it is Danny Harris, and now you can see what Danny has done without anybody to pull on. This is basically a blind race, and he still is going to win it by close to 15 meters with Max Robertson of Great Britain coming in 2nd in the heat in 48.73 unofficial. That is an excellent time. Very good for a heat time, particularly outside in lane 8 and all alone.
Danny Harris on the backstretch running along. He chopped, I think it was the 5th hurdle, and that's what happens in the intermediate hurdles. If you don't run the exact same distance, the exact same number of steps in between the hurdles, you have to chop your steps. There he chopped a little bit there, and maybe it's the next hurdle coming up. There, you can see him sort of stagger there. He had to pull back a little bit, and he still ran 48.73, which is very, very fast for this race. Can't hold back. He was running a little bit scared here, I think. He couldn't see anyone. In the stretch, he may look over a little bit, but he doesn't. He just looks for the finish line and runs right straight through. Maybe having to chop his steps on that fifth hurdle told him that he better run hard to the finish. He didn't know where anyone was, and he finally eases up to 48.73.
So the key qualifiers in the 400.
Absolutely right. Tamara Bikova has been flawless all the way through. This competition is matching stride for stride with Stefka Kostadinova. And Bikova over cleanly at 6'8 1/4, which is only 1 centimeter below her all-time personal record. She is coming completely out of the woodwork this year.
Dwight, she hasn't been up there in several years either.
She won the World Championships in '83, dominated in '83, but since then has not been a factor. She makes 6'8 1/4 cleanly. That puts a lot of pressure on Kostadinova, but she's been over this height many more times than any other woman in the world.
10 of the 13 highest jumps in history in the high jump belong to this woman. She attempts 6 feet 8 1/4 inches.
Not an impressive jump whatsoever. You would think that jumping behind Bikova and after her having such an impressive clearance, that Kostadinova would have to respond immediately, but that was a very poor attempt.
She has only 1 more jump at this height. That's her second miss. You're allowed 3 attempts at any given height.
Driving the turn very well, but she takes too long from her right foot to her plant foot and hits the bar on the way up. She's got her hands full. She goes down to her 3rd attempt at 6'8 1/4. If she doesn't make it, she loses the gold medal. Unthinkable for Kostadinova.
Moments like this is not a team sport. Let's watch.
The response of a champion. Don't just make it by a ton. Daylight under Stefka Kostadinova, but she knows she has her hands full. She's in 2nd place. She must make the next height just to win, and we're getting into very rarefied air.
The world record holder, 6 feet 9 3/4 of an inch. She has cleared in the past.
Kostadinova able to keep her emotions in check. She knows what she must do. The sun in her face, she just nails it at the plant. Very nice vertical, and makes that height with room to spare. That's what she needed. 9 inches. This is the 2nd attempt for Tamara Bikova, the defending champion from Helsinki in 1983. She is the leader on misses. And a very fine effort. She is jumping so well in this competition. A great big meet performer.
5 times indoors and out, the world record holder. This is her main competition.
Kostadinova, 2nd attempt at 6 feet 9 inches. And she's over by a mile. Back into the lead. Now she is winning the gold. Bikova must respond by jumping this height as well as the next.
Bikova has just 1 jump left. This is Kostadinova.
Incredible confidence, going from the depths of despair to the top of the mountain. Stefka Kostadinova with room to spare at 6 feet 9 inches.
Her run-up about 65 feet. This is the last attempt for Bikova.
Bikova has had the bar raised to 6'9 3/4 because she cannot win by jumping 6 feet 9. She's going for it with 1 final attempt.
Not close. Not close.
It was not meant to be this time. I have to admire the courage of Bikova, though, having a phenomenal meet and going to tie the world record to win.
She defended her title like a champion should. 65 feet is her run-up.
She looked very good in the run-up, but she just didn't have any more. Missed it on the way up. But what a tremendous performance by Tamara Bikova.
So.
Cheer, which is a lot in the 400 meters.
And a new face. He really just, this year has been the year that he has come out.
And he's run very well. He's run a lot of races indoors and outdoors. The real question is, has he run too much in Europe?
This is the first round. The top 4 finishers at 8 next best times in the heats will move through. Butch Reynolds, the United States, is in lane 2 as you look in the head-on shot.
And Butch has a tendency to start out slowly. He's not even in the picture here. He'll come into the picture in a minute. He tends to start slowly and then come on very strongly in the last straightaway.
And there he comes in lane 2. Outside in lane 8, that's Takano of Japan.
And Butch Reynolds running comfortably on through to the next round.
So into the semifinal.
Dick, this is the ultimate in the high jump. Attempting a world record, 6 feet 10 1/4. She's already the world champion. Stefka Kostadinova's first attempt.
Ooh, a good attempt, though, Dwight. Not a bad attempt.
She's had a lot of emotional distress today. She almost lost this competition and then won it, and now she's going for the world record. They've been out here a long time today, Larry.
Watch her jump. She uses her arms to lift up, rotates her body, uses her right arm to lay out for levity, but doesn't quite get her legs up and over.
She makes the adjustment on the step. She could make this height. She has the strength.
She's got it! She's got it! That's a new world indoor record for Stefka Kostadinova of Bulgaria, the 27-year-old young lady. What a great performance.
Unbelievable. 6'10 1/4. She just nicks it on the way down. This is the ultimate. A half an hour ago, she was staring at her final attempt at 6'8 1/4. She had to make it to win. And now a new world record, 6 feet 10 1/4. She's got to love it.
Listen to the Italian crowd cheer and sing as though you're at an American college football game. Here she goes on the new world record.
Such a strong run-up, good arm swing. She works the turn so well, puts that plant down, just nicks it on the way down. Incredible performance.
50,000 people cheering here in Rome.
I'm not sure she's done jumping.
Now, wouldn't you say, we've seen this often over here in another competition, she's looking at her coach maybe for direction?
She may want just to take one more jump, just one jump at a higher height.
Look at her. Her reaction is like, you really want me to go higher?
Here it is again. We had one record in Helsinki, and Kostadinova on the second day has thrilled the track and field enthusiasts in Rome with a magnificent leap, 6'10 1/4. Bravo.
Of East Germany in lane 3. And she has the fastest time in the world this year.
She's only 22 years old. She's one of those newcomers coming up from East Germany.
By the way, in the first heat, Pina Gina, Julian Richardson, and Lily Leatherwood King finishing third, and we will have to wait on her time to see if she will make it through to the final. Here it is, Petra Mueller, lane 3, Brizgina in 4, and Deneen Howard in 5. And they kind of set the pace for this complete group. They're running 1, 2, 3.
Look at Deneen Howard. She looks like she's almost leading right here in all blue. She, at 16 years old, made the Olympic team in 1980. She's going out hard. I like to see that the Americans are getting better, and Deneen Howard wants to make that final.
So it is Petra Mueller in lane 3, and Brizgina of the Soviet Union in 4, pulling away from Deneen Howard. Again, the first two are through to the finals, and we'll have to wait on the time of the third. And it is going to be Mueller, Brizgina, and Howard in that order.
We saw Howard run all the way through the finish line hard because she wants to make that final, and of course it's just the top two, then the next two fastest.
They come off of the turn.
We see Mueller, a tall woman with the blue and white shorts on. Look how controlled she is around the turn. She looks like she's running well within herself. Now, Brizgina in second place right here with the red top on. One interesting note is that her husband made it to the finals today in the 100 meters. But Deneen Howard in third here. She's really using all her arms, trying to make it into that final. But we can see Mueller looks very much under control. Her shoulders are low, and she looks like she's just on cruise control right here.
So it is Petra Mueller of East Germany who takes the second race of the semifinals and sets the scene.
Michael Connolly, considered by many the favorite for the triple jump crown here in Rome, has jumped extremely well the entire year long. World indoor record holder. First jump in qualifying looks very good. Right here, there's the automatic qualifier. He is beyond it. 55, 11 3/4. He can pack up and go home. Here's the defending champion from Helsinki, Zdzislav Hoffman. Very low with his arms. But again, beyond the automatic qualifier, 54, 10 3/4. All these guys want to do in the morning, just qualify and get back to the hotel.
Here's the world record holder who has not done well in his early couple of attempts, Willie Banks. Out close to the distance from the pitcher's mound to home plate, he's reached almost 60 feet. He's having trouble today, though.
Willie has been very marginal this year. He was good at the TAC meet, but he is really struggling here, and that does not look far enough. 53, 8 1/2 in his third attempt. He will not qualify for the final on Monday.
This is the American indoor record holder, a man who held the world record there. This is Charlie Simpkins.
Simpkins has also been spotty this year. At the National, he was very good. He almost came off the runway on that one. 53 9 3/4 does also not qualify for the final. Oleg Sakirkin, another one of those Soviet triple jumpers who just seems to come at you every year. A big jump in qualifying, 56 11 1/4. That was the leading qualifier for Monday's final.
And we'll see that tomorrow night.
Only 18 at the time, but she's really coming on this year and last year. She's really improving. She's been in a lot of international competition. She's looking for that sub-50.
First two finishers move forward to the finals, and then the two next best times out of the three heats. And Diane Dixon out at lane 6 is in a strong contention, as is Kirsten Immelmann of East Germany in lane 3. So right now it is Immelmann and Dixon running 1-2.
Diane's what I would call a feisty competitor, Charlie, because she's going out hard lately. She's not afraid of this field. It used to be that some of the 400-meter women from the United States were afraid of the East Germans. East German is way up here right now, but Diane is going for it. She's got good arm form right here, too.
Immelmann, by the way, has run a 50-30 this year, and we did have a scratch. Usifo, a late scratch of Nigeria in lane 1, and lane 1 is open. And here comes Kirsten Immelmann, and it is Diane Dixon. Immelmann and Dixon. Immelmann first, Dixon second. She definitely moves through to the finals. All right.
That's great for Diane, or her nickname's Dee Dee. She really went for that. She was ready here, Charlie.
A look at Kirsten Immelmann. She could challenge for a medal in the final. Diane Dixon.
To the screen. One thing about the East Germans is they have a low arm carriage. Diane, that you see clearly right here in all blue, look at her go to her arms. Right here, your legs feel dead. That's why you've got to go to your arms. You've got to pull those elbows back so that your knees come up. Diane's holding her form well here, and she wants to make that final, and she does.
Immelmann and Dixon through to the finals. The States is in lane 5. This is the 4th heat of the men's 800 meters. Suonen, Morel, Barbosa, Niang, Johnny Gray, Bernert, Inholm, and Braun are all in this heat. The 3 top finishers plus the 4 next best times will be coming through.
And Johnny Gray and Jose Luis Barbosa. Barbosa's in the yellow, Gray behind him, just pushing the athlete in front of him. Really, this could be a replay of the final. Out of those two will probably be medalists in the final. They're jogging now. They're settling in, and they're just going to let somebody lead through the first lap.
Suonen of Finland inside in reality has the early lead, but everybody seems to be just looking around, checking where everybody is.
And if Johnny Gray has a fault, it's that he tends to run wide. Look at him. He's on the left-hand side. Barbosa making a move, not getting boxed, in second place.
And Martin Inholm of Sweden now takes the lead on the bell lap.
And Barbosa ran a very smart race. He's in second place, well positioned. Johnny Gray is really in trouble here.
He is way back, running next to last. Now he starts to make a move down the back straight.
I hope he's running easily. He seems to be gaining on them now, but someone's making a break.
And that is Niang of Senegal.
And he is no slouch. He's a good runner. Barbosa's going after him, and Johnny Gray is getting left. Johnny Gray, something is wrong with him. He may not qualify unless he really starts to move here.
Babacar Niang of Senegal moving out in front as he leads coming down the final straight.
And this is a big upset. Johnny Gray will not qualify. This is one of the upsets of the games. He's starting to jog. Niang will win. Barbosa's second, and Johnny Gray just jogging through right out of the gate and out of this competition.
He jogs across the line, turns right, and heads for home.
A big disappointment for Johnny Gray. He looked okay with 1 lap to go, and he's saying to himself, I don't know what's wrong. Some days you just don't have it, but usually not by that much. Johnny Gray in the back, we thought it was strategy for a while, but look at him, he's just not driving. His arms are not moving, and this is where everyone accelerates going into the last turn. Barbosa in second, going after Niang, and you can see Johnny Gray running on the outside. He's saying, okay, now I'll punch it. I'll put the pedal to the floor and see what happens. He puts it down and shifts into reverse. Niang in front, running very well, and Barbosa running smoothly. Jogging through very soon will be Johnny Gray.
With the new javelin at 287.7, up for his second throw here at the World Championships.
Dwight, this is the first change in this implement since the Trojan War.
The flight is completely different. It starts to flatten out right at the top of the flight of the throw, whereas in the old days, the nose would stay up and it would carry further. But this is a good throw for him, 269 feet, 8 inches to take the lead.
This is American Tom Petranoff. He has the American record at just over 280 feet with the new spear.
Tom was the silver medalist 4 years ago in Helsinki, and he was very upset about the change in the implement.
But really, he's done very well with it.
He's made the transition very well, and it's because he is strong and he also knows how to manipulate the instrument. 264 feet, that puts him in 3rd place currently. This is Lev Shatilo of the Soviet Union. A number of new throwers have come up because the instrument has been better suited for their style of throwing.
Watch the left leg act as a brake here, and the rest of the body whip forward. It dives like a bomber.
And he takes 3rd and pushes Petranoff into 4th with 265.10. Up to the booth and Charlie Jones.
But it's good to see her in the semifinals.
She's one of the best women runners in the world, middle distance-wise. And some people laugh. She's so muscular. She looks like the Arnold Schwarzenegger of women's running.
Anna Kirot of Cuba, one of the favorites. And she goes right out along with Essie Washington of the United States.
Kirot wanted to do the double here. She's in all red. She's now boxed in behind there, but she couldn't do it at this meet.
Cholovic of Yugoslavia takes the lead. No, that's Essie. That's Essie with the lead. That's Essie with the lead. Cholovic is in 2nd.
Americans need to go out and run towards the front. The Americans like Essie. Essie doesn't have, she can't get her legs turning over quick at the end, so she needs to force the pace early.
And meanwhile, Krachtok-Vilova is just sitting along the rail, and she's running 3rd or 4th.
No, that's not her style at all. But Wouters in the blue top and the white short is moving up.
And Wouters is in 3rd place. She's from East Germany. And now Essie's beginning to struggle just a bit as Cholovic takes the lead.
That was a fast 400 meters, 57.08. So it's a good pace.
Kirot of Cuba, and moving up on her right shoulder from East Germany is Wouters.
She was 2nd in the East German Championships just a week ago. She looks, you know, she looks so easy there. And here's the 3rd 200 of the race where a lot of people want to slow down and take it easy, but she looks like she's going to take the lead.
And it is Zigra Wouters of East Germany with the lead. And now Cholovic of Yugoslavia, it moves up to 3rd.
Kirot still looks good. She's in 4th now, and she looks like she's just getting ready to make her move.
And Gurina of the Soviet Union is 2nd, and coming up on the outside is the challenger, Anna Kirot of Cuba. And again, 3 will move through. Top 3 finishers will move through. And here comes Krachtok-Vilova inside, struggling for 4th. But the top 3 finishers are definitely through to the next round, to the final.
Anna Kirot had her best time a couple of weeks ago in Berlin, 1:56, and she's just really coming into her own this year, Charlie.
Let's go back and take a look at the final straight.
Ahti of Finland up for his 3rd round throw, but back in the 1st round, talk about not feeling very confident. You come out for your 1st round of the World Championships, he slips, sticks the javelin in the runway short of fouling, gets to go back. He has a minute left for his concentration, and he completed the throw. He's up for his 3rd round throw now. Let's see what he can do.
Boy, that was a brilliant move. This is the national sport practically in Finland.
And he gets it out there a good distance, 270 feet, and that takes the lead. So in a little less than 20 minutes, he went from despair to being the leader. Tom Petranoff, America's hope for a medal in this particular event, is currently 3rd. 266 feet, 8 inches. And that keeps him right where he is. He's into 4th.
Watch Petranoff now. The leg should be planted before the arm begins its forward motion. The spear should be up behind the right ear in this case, the elbow above the shoulder when the release occurs. Everything is done to create a whip-like motion.
The idea is to try to throw the entire javelin through the point the tip of the javelin, which is very difficult to do. That's where the finesse of the event comes in. Petronov, however, is struggling. Let's go back to Dick in the studio.
Again, lane 1 is open.
Edwin should have no trouble in this heat, but he's still fun to watch because he's the best hurdler in history. He just goes over the barriers so well.
And already he begins to close the stagger on Martin Gillingham of Great Britain, who is in lane 3 just to his right.
Charlie, unlike some of the flat races where in the early rounds athletes back off, you can't really do that so much in the hurdles because if you do, it throws your steps off. So you have to run fairly hard every race. So he'll win this by a whole bunch, not because he's hot dogging, but because he has to. He doesn't want to throw himself off.
And again, the top 2 finishers will move through to the finals. Out in lane 5 from Nigeria is Henry Amike. And he is now drifting back to second place. And Edwin Moses will coast in, moving to the next round.
Edwin ran a low 48 race there. That's pretty fast for the early rounds. That would be the 4th or 5th best time in the world this year. But again, he has to run pretty fast because it's such a technical event.
And as you say, he's such a great athlete. It's fun to watch him in any race.
Watch his head as he goes over the hurdles. It probably will not go up very much. He chopped a little bit on his steps, but he's a fine hurdler. He just has such control over his body, right back into the same rhythm. You could play one piece of film on top of another. It wouldn't change. You can see he draws in a little bit, pulls up his lead leg, and just runs right over the hurdle. And that's what's so unique about Edwin. His legs are just about as long on the inseam as the hurdles are high, so he can literally step right over them. And he's got his timing down so much, he's got so much experience that this kind of trial really is easy for him. The only threat to him is if he hits a hurdle and falls down. Edwin coming down the home stretch. He's relaxed. He runs the same number of steps between each hurdle. They're all meted out. He runs the exact same distance on each stride. He's just fun to watch because technically he's the best person that's ever been in this event.
An unofficial 49
is only in second by 8 inches. This is the moment of truth. And he gives it everything he's got. It's a very good flight. And you can hear from the crowd, Seppo Ratti on the final throw of the competition has moved back into the lead, 274 feet, 1 inch per Ratti.
White, this is reminiscent of what Tiina Lilak did in Helsinki in '83 at the first World Championships, her 6th and final throw. Watch him reach back with a spear, planted up by his ear. The left knee will be bent slightly. It will act as the brake I've mentioned. He whips the javelin through, the legs plant. Look at the screen.
He got everything that he had into that javelin. He's got to feel good about that. Seppo Ratti of Finland. Tom Petronov currently in 4th. This is his final attempt, his final chance to crawl into the medals. He was the silver medalist in Helsinki. Petronov goes for it all, but he can see that it's not far enough and steps over the line for an intentional foul.
Notice where it landed off to the right there. It was not, as you were saying, straight down the middle, which you try and do in the javelin.
Disappointing competition for Petronov. I know he was coming in here thinking that he might be able to get back into the medals to set himself up for next year's Olympics. He comes through. He's not pressing at this point. Brings the point right next to the side of his head. But he just gets the foot down and the arm behind. He's not in rhythm. He's not in sync. He already knows that there's no chance, and he steps over. It's a shame for Tom Petronov, but there's always next year.
So Seppo Ratti of Finland, that's been their event through the years. Historically, they have 6 gold medals, the men in the javelin and the long distance running, and the Finns who won their only gold in Helsinki in the javelin from Tiina Lilak, get another from 1984, Zurich, Switzerland. Just 2 weeks after winning the gold medal in LA, Evelyn Ashford, a perfect race, perfect conditions, lowers her own 100-meter world record to 10.76.
Injury to her left hamstring, which has bothered her before, but it's not that bad. She thought, why risk it for 88?
Exactly. All right. Now the run for the gold. And it's a fair start. Drexler does not get a good start. Isayinko gets the start, and it is Merlene Ottey, and then outside it is Gladish. It is Silke Gladish of East Germany. Silke Gladish is going to win it, and Drexler may come in second at the lead.
It looks like it could be a championship record. That's unofficial, but she had the start.
An unofficial 10:91.
Silke Gladish on the left of your screen gets a good start. Not quite as well as we saw this morning, but she's out and she stays in good running form. She's got that lean. That's important. She stays relaxed here all the way through the tape. And Heike Drexler looks like, I think she came in second.
Yes, and Ottey goes for third. And Gladish is a lean, mean running machine, because I think that her feelings had been hurt this week because she is on the left in lane 6. Everybody was talking about Heike Drexler and Heike this and Heike that. I think that she just decided that she was going to prove it right here, that she had not peaked earlier.
Good power with her arms. She carries them low, gets them down by her hips. Good power, strong legs. Heike just had such a terrible start. Merlene Ottey's also a tall runner. She came in well the last 10 meters as well. That's happy Silke Gladish right there.
Missouri 9.95 in Mexico City. Then Calvin Smith here, Bolton, Mississippi, finally broke it running 9.93 in the thin air of the Rockies in Colorado Springs. Calvin Smith 9.93. The Mark Johnson and Lewis.
This is the one with the world record is 9.93. Ready now for the final men's 100 meters. The very essence of track and field. I love this event. You fire the gun, and the man who gets there first is the champion.
And the person out first will most likely be Ben Johnson. He has this new start where he simply kind of hops up on both feet. Carl Lewis has a more traditional start. Here is Carol Lewis, Carl's sister.
A fair start, and it is Ben Johnson who is out, and Ben Johnson is 2 meters of Carl Lewis, and Ben Johnson's going to run away with it. Lewis cannot catch him. Ben Johnson of Canada does it. A 9.84. Unbelievable. You gotta love it. A world record. The wind is okay. Woo! He won it at the start.
Look how much faster he got out. Boom! This is the race coaches are going to show their athletes for the next 50 years. That is the fastest human in history. Carl Lewis, only number 2 now, because Ben Johnson is now better than Carl has ever been.
A 9.84 at sea level.
You can't see this enough. Look how quickly Ben Johnson comes up. He hops up on both feet. And here, where Carl Lewis usually accelerates, Ben Johnson holds him off. Carl closes a little, but he was never going to get him. Never in doubt. That is an athlete, and Carl Lewis went to congratulate Ben Johnson, the better athlete on this day, and Carl really showed class by doing this. There is a man who has done what he set out to do. We have a new standard in starts established by Ben Johnson. He pulls his hands up, he hops up on both feet. Boom, look, they both leave the ground, and he's up and running faster than anyone else. He also has the fastest reaction time of anyone in the field, and now he's nearly the fastest in the middle. Carl Lewis cannot catch him. Ben Johnson is the best in history, without a doubt.
Now will take another look in slow motion, and you could see it's even more vivid in slow motion as he just explodes. It's a leaping start out of the blocks for Ben Johnson, and the race in reality is over after 20 meters because he has the advantage with the start, and he is so quick, and he has peaked his whole career for today at this moment in time.
He's been a man with a mission. He's had an image to overcome, which is Carl Lewis's. He's very quiet. He's very sedate. He's got a great coach. He just decides what he's going to do. He sets out to do it. And now he's not only the strongest sprinter in the world, he's the fastest. And you can't see it enough. Watch him come up. Look how much quicker he moves. Boom, he's gone. You can see it right there. And that's the race. Now, Carl, I think at this point thought he might be able to catch him, but look at Ben Johnson's eyes. He is just looking at the finish line.
The overhead view, and just for the record, Johnson, Lewis, Raymond Stewart of Jamaica finishes third, Linford Christie of Great Britain finishes fourth. But the story is Ben Johnson. Let's go down to Dwight Stones.
I'm down here with Carl Lewis. Carl, you told me that you think it's one of the worst races you ever run, but if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be very close to a world record. Talk us through your feelings from the time you came to set.
Well, Dwight, I came to set, I felt very good, but it's a gunshot. I just didn't really come up out of the blocks like I've been doing in the other qualifying rounds. And when you do that in a race like this, you just get left, and that was the difference. I'm really disappointed because my qualifying rounds were going very well, and I was ready to run very fast, and then we came to the final, and I didn't do it. But, hey, you can't take anything away from Ben. He ran a great race. He ran a great time, and he won today.
It seems as though the emotion shifted during the last 2 days from Ben Johnson to you. You became the favorite in the last 2 days. What could you have done differently?
Well, the only thing, like I said, is that I didn't really do what I had to do in the blocks. I mean, Ben has a great start, but I still believe I can come from behind. But I didn't do what I had to do in the blocks, and I got behind with the mistakes, and then I ran very hard to catch up, and then at the end, you just can't do it, so I stayed relaxed.
Was it tough to see him out there in front of you in the lane right next to you? He was almost running on the line next to you.
Well, it was very tough. I mean, especially since the fact that I knew I shouldn't have been that far behind. But like I said, he ran 9:84, whatever the official time is, and it's faster than anyone that's ever run, so you know, he ran a great race. That's the lowdown.
The good news may be that you got at least an American record out of it.
Hopefully, and the one thing we know is that we have the Olympics, and that's my domain.
Absolutely. Back up to the booth. And okay, I'm down here with a new world record holder in the 100 meters, Ben Johnson. Ben, a couple weeks ago, you said that you thought if you ran the perfect race, you could run 9:85. You just ran 9:83.
Well, I'm pleased with my time. I don't talk bullshit. Whenever I know I'm running, then I tell you if I'm running or not.
Right. You looked like you came out of the blocks very fast as usual, but you came out also very close to the line and then readjusted.
I came out so hard at the blocks. I end up in his lane, and I saw it, and then I back in the middle, and sort of maintain my position and my speed right through.
Did you feel that you really peaked properly for this meet, or is there more in Ben Johnson's legs, a faster time than that?
Well, hopefully next year I'll probably increase my speed and my endurance right to the race, but now I'm pleased with my time, and also, you know, world championship man, #1.
Congratulations, world champion, a new world record holder. Back up to Charlie Jones.
And our congratulations to Ben Johnson, the human being. He says it the way that it is. Also, as you know, he's been working on that speech impediment of his, and he has really improved. But what has improved? That 9:83. Carl Lewis second, tied the old world record of 9:93. Greatest race in history. Let's go to Dickenberg.
Indeed it was, and bettering problem as Bulgaria.
There's a Carl Lewis, and Ben Johnson's going to run away with it. Lewis cannot catch him. Ben Johnson of Canada does it. A 9:84. Unbelievable! You gotta love it! A world record! The wind is okay! Woo!
Officially 9.83, without question, the world's fastest human, Canada's Benjamin Sinclair Johnson Jr., leaving behind American Carl Lewis and the world. Incredibly, Johnson shaves a full 1/10 of a second off the world record. Yesterday, Rome's Olympic Stadium was a place for cheering. Another world record, 6:10 1/4 for Bulgaria's Stefka Kostadinova. For a gold, Italy's 20K walker Maurizio Damilano on the right. Carlo Mattioli, his Italian teammate, was 5th. Today, the 2 World Championships to match his 2 Olympic titles, and Jackie Joyner-Kersee, former UCLA basketball starter, the world's record holder in the heptathlon. She is trying to reaffirm her status as the world's greatest all-around female athlete. It's day 3 of the World Championships of Track and Field. Yesterday, an extraordinary sprint at sea level. No one had ever broken 9.95 before, 9.90, 9.8.
In lane 1, Amadou Diaba is in lane 2. Toma Tomov is in 3. Chris Akabusi is in 4. Jose Alonso 5. Edwin Moses 6. Tomas Newberg is in 7. And Alexander Vasilyev is in lane 8. Edwin Moses of the United States in lane 6, one of the favorites. You can say one of now. In the past, he would have been the favorite. It's a bit windy, and they'll have a wind from behind as they go down the back straight. Moses outside in lane 6 has the lead. Frank is not all that smooth.
He's chopping a little bit. Oh, he just hit a hurdle. That threw him off a little bit. He's back on form in the next hurdle. That's where you find out if anything's going wrong. He didn't hit the next hurdle, so he's back on his steps.
So Edwin Moses is out in front in the semifinal. Outside in lane 8, that's Vasilyev, and he pulls up. Edwin Moses very comfortably in the lead again. This is the semifinals. Top 4 finishers will move through to the final. And Moses just strides with Diaba running 2nd. Akabusi is running 3rd, and Jose Alonso finishes 4th. So those 4 will move through to the finals of the men's 400-meter hurdle. Moses did not look that sharp.
Well, we have a very good example of what a great technician Edwin is. He hits a hurdle down on the backstretch, knocks it over. Look at him recover. He gets right back in his stride, and he has to run the same number of strides between the hurdles. Now, on the left, on the outside, Vasilyev looks like he was fine. He must have just pulled something. He's pulling up. He never hit the hurdle. Yeah, he's hopping like he hurt a hamstring or pulled a muscle. So he's out.
And we'll be back with more of the World Championships in Rome in just a moment.
With the luck of the draw on his side, has lane 3, which means he can watch Harold Schmidt of Germany in lane 6, and he can draw on him in the first half of the race to try to gain a little bit over the first 5 hurdles.
Shimo Chaco is in lane 1, Max Robertson in 2, Danny Harris, the United States, in 3, Winthrop Graham in 4, Henry Amiki is in 5, Harold Schmidt is in 6, David Patrick, the United States, is in 7, and Sveen Nylander is in lane 8. And there is Danny Harris.
To run the intermediate hurdles well, you really have to be born to do it. And Danny Harris seems to have the talent to run very smoothly between the hurdles. He's also very fast on the straightaway. Harold Schmidt has been the best in Europe for over 10 years.
And those are the 2 men expected to lead this group in a challenge of Edwin Moses in the finals. Again, the top 4 finishers here will move through to the finals. Danny Harris is in 3. Schmidt is in lane 6. David Patrick, the United States, is in 7, and he has an outside shot to move through. Danny Harris gets a good start in lane 3. Schmidt outside in lane 6 has already closed the stagger on David Patrick. And right now it is Harold Schmidt and Danny Harris.
Danny Harris now taking a little bit of a lead. He likes to run fast in the first half of the race, and he's running well.
Danny Harris with about a 1.5 meter, maybe a 2 meter lead at this point.
Still going well. coming off the turn, but he likes to run fast. Schmid's a little better at the end of the race.
It is Harris, Graham outside of him, Amiki, and then Harold Schmid. And it is Danny Harris leading the way over the final hurdle. And Schmid, as they pull up at the finish line, I believe it was Schmid first, Harris second, Eulander third, Amiki finished fourth, David Patrick of the United States coming in fifth, will not move through.
There was a little bit of a hesitation by Danny Harris over the last hurdle, and you can't do that in this event. You lose momentum. Harold Schmid came by on momentum in the end.
48-23, a pretty good time.
But Danny Harris can't afford that kind of technical mistake on the last hurdle in the final.
Let's go to Dick.
Willie Banks, the United States in 1985 in the U.S. Nationals at Indianapolis as he broke a nearly 10-year-old record of João de Oliveira of Brazil's. This is a leap of 58 feet, 11.5 inches for Willie Banks. And the man with a law degree from UCLA, flamboyant, animated, you didn't need a scoreboard in Indianapolis to know he had the world record. Well, Willie Banks' news here in Rome, not good. He did not qualify for the triple jump finals. That was a major disappointment, not only for him, but for the United States. So that leaves it up to Mike Conley, the only USA hope in the finals of the triple jump. Conley, of course, the silver medalist in Los Angeles. For the finals now, let's go to Dwight Stones.
A championship triple jump competition without Willie Banks is like spaghetti without meatballs. It just is lacking something. But there is no lacking for quality in this triple jump competition. There'll be plenty of enthusiasm from the competitors as well as the crowd because they have everything that they could possibly want. Mike Conley of the United States, world indoor record holder and champion. Oleg Protsenko of the Soviet Union, former world indoor record holder. And Krista Markov of Bulgaria, European record holder and champion, who many say could steal this competition. Look for Conley near the last couple of rounds to pull out a big one. Let's get right to the action. Krista Markov of Bulgaria, considered by many to be the favorite in this competition, but we all know how good Conley is as the competition progresses. Let's take a look at Markov's first round jump. He is moving down this runway. A fantastic jump. For the very first jump, he is really stretched this one out well into the pit. Krista Markov flat out flying on the runway. Very close to a foul. I think that's what they're looking at now, but look at this distance. You can see he is driving with the knees and the arms. He is full speed here. Stretches right to the board. Outstanding technique. Let's see how close. Plenty of room to spare there. 58 feet, 1 inch. That's a new championship record on the first round. Michael Conley of the United States. Usually a slow starter, but I think 58-1 might just get his head into this competition. Ooh, Michael chops severely near the board and has to drop down very quickly. Not a good effort at all for Michael Conley. You'll see right here, he chops his step, and that is no way to carry speed in this event. You must have your speed right on the button, hit the board well, and you can see here it's a good thing that he chopped his step because he would have fouled. But he gets 56 feet, 10.25 inches. That's good enough for third, and it is only the first round. We'll be back with more track and field championships from Rome.
Is in 7th. Jackie Joyner-Kersee in lane 4 with a good start. And the thing to remember is not if you win an event, but how you do against the clock. And she is running very well. Jackie Joyner-Kersee out in front, and she runs very well. We will have her official time and correlate that to her points. Let's take another look at her in action.
Jackie used to have problems with her start and approaching the first hurdle. But as you can see right here, she's beautiful over the first hurdle. That's where she used to hit it sometimes. Now watch her form. Jackie used to be ragged in this event. Now she's got her rhythm down. She's using her arms well, but really I think she could even get better, and that's incredible. Jackie won 2 open meets this summer, 1 in Berlin and 1 in Zurich, so she can go against some of the best in the world in the open 100-meter hurdles.
Her time is now official. It is a 12:91, and that computes to 1,138 points. So right now, after the first event, She is 41 points ahead of her world record in Houston. Way to go, Jackie.
And then came the high for a jump around shot put in the heptathlon. She's done it in training, she's done it in other meets, but never in the heptathlon. She gets over it in a big way here, 52 feet 6 inches, and she loves it. Now to the final event of the day, the 200 meters in Charlie Jones.
Here are the lane assignments in Jackie Joyner-Kersey's heat, which was in the 200 meters of the heptathlon. And she has positioned herself perfectly all day long. And she gets an excellent start here, Missy.
Jackie in the middle, look at, she just takes off. One reason this is one of Jackie's best events is that she is a natural sprinter. Everyone else is fighting themselves, but Jackie can run all out and control her form. Good arm drive here and great knee lift. Jackie is running against herself.
She's running against herself and against the clock, and she ran a 22.95. That converted to 1,084 points, 111 points ahead of pace. Here's Dwight.
Jackie, you're 111 points ahead of your world record score. How did you feel about the way the competition went for you today?
I felt good about the overall performances, but I was a bit disappointed about my hurdle race because I had been working on...
Us to appreciate. There's Ben Johnson in red in the middle. Now this is at full speed as he breaks out, leads the pack, and Lewis just could not make up the ground.
Well, normally, for me to win this race is I have to reach my top speed as early as possible. I say 45 meters, where I normally go at 60, my top speed, so I don't want to take any chances.
Now here's the start. Yours is different than the others.
Yeah. When my arms are right, I came in so hard, I must end up in lane 3, and I was just trying to maintain. I know car was probably coming soon, so I decided just to change gear and just go.
And we're going to see it head on next, and we're going to watch how you explode with those arms. It's almost like a blocker in football, the way you thrust those out.
Well, I usually come out with my arms right, so I got more explosive power coming from my back legs, also moving from the front.
Now, at that point, you knew you had a great start, and there's no way you know how close Lewis is, or can you sense your opponent just where he might be?
Well, the first 2 or 3 minutes out the blocks, I know it was was my best, and I just keep on going.
Now, why should you be quicker reacting to the gunshot than anyone else?
Well, it's all in the mind.
It's not training. You don't do it. Your technique isn't different. It's just your natural talent?
Yeah, just natural talent.
Now, there was one other moment after you won the race. You knew you had a world record. You could see the clock. And Carl Lewis, the man that, I mean, the word is that you have been obsessed with beating him. And Lewis tried to congratulate you and be part of your lap. There he is, and you give him a quick handshake, and he kind of said, hey, this is my time. Was that your feeling?
Well, I was juggling when the corner, bringing to the crowds. I didn't see what's coming behind me at all, and they came up beside me and go bang, and I turned around and shake his hand, but I didn't see him at all. And people saying about I don't want to shake his hand. That's not true.
You respect him.
I respect him, yeah.
You don't necessarily really like him.
No.
Well, you wound up having dinner last night at the same restaurant.
Well, I'm very easy.
Brzezinski of the Soviet Union is in 2. Petra Mueller of East Germany is in 3. Diane Dixon of the United States is in 4. Maria Pinagina of the Soviet Union is in 5. Kirsten Immermann of East Germany is in 6. Lily Leatherwood King of the United States is in 7. And Julian Richardson of Canada is in 8. So there are 3 Soviets, 2 East Germans, 2 Americans, and 1 Canadian.
And that's Petra Mueller. She's only 22 years old. She's really the top East German right now that Marita Koch, the world record holder, has retired. There's no clear favorites, but she does have the best time in the world this year, 49.64.
And she'll be challenged, the lady behind her, in lane 2, Olga Brzezinski of the Soviet Union. But in one respect, the race is almost wide open. In another respect, these are the 2 favorites.
Those are the 2 favorites. Her husband yesterday, Olga Brzezinski's husband, took 6th in the 100 meters final.
This is the final women's 400 meters. 1 lap, and they'll stay in their lanes.
Out in lane 7 is Lily Leatherwood King, and she really hangs back the first 200, but really comes on the last 200, but she can't get out very slowly here or everyone will be gone.
And it is a fair start with Brzezinski and Mueller both starting fairly equal. Mueller closing a little on Diane Dixon on the stagger, and right now you'd say that Petra Mueller of East Germany has the early lead.
Right, she just passed Lily Leatherwood King. She's in all white. Diane Dixon is in lane 4 in all blue. She looks so strong right here, Petra Mueller. She's got the lead right here.
And outside in lane 6, Kirsten Immelmann of East Germany is running well, and she's picked up 2 staggers as they swing off of the wide curve and then have the final straight in front of them, and we'll sort it out.
And this is where the race starts after 300 meters because you're getting very tight here. Diane Dixon looks like she's not having her best race, and the East Germans are going against the Soviets right here.
And from the Soviet Union, Olga Brizgina in lane 2, pulling away from Petra Mueller. It is Brizgina, Mueller, and then also Immelmann from East Germany. So the Soviets take the gold, and the East Germans take the silver and the bronze in the final of the women's 400 meters.
So Olga Brizgina.
Butch Reynolds should run from pretty much behind the whole race. That's his strategy until coming off the turn onto the last straightaway. He'll get a good look at Egbunike for the first 3/4 of this race.
And it is Innocent Egbunike out in lane 5 who takes the early lead, and he has closed already 2 staggers. And everybody projects the final to be between Butch Reynolds and Innocent Egbunike. So here's a little preview and some strategy at work, some mind games going.
And Butch Reynolds will be behind, probably coming off the turn. Just a question of how much strength he has. He's way behind. Let's see how strong he is on the straightaway.
Devon Morris is running second to Innocent Egbunike. Again, the top 3 finishers. Butch Reynolds is going to have to get going, and he does. He does move through along with Innocent Egbunike and Devon Morris of Jamaica.
Now, Butch was...
So he does wait to the last.
He was reaching down to his right hamstring. I don't know if that means anything. Maybe he's just carrying his arm a little low. But I think that was a little too relaxed for me. In the stretch run, you can see Butch Reynolds in lane 3 comes off a good 5 or 6 meters behind. Then watch him come on. Just uses his arms. He's running better than anyone else on the straightaway, but he let himself get a long way behind. If he does that in the final, he's in trouble because Egbunike will not ease off.
An unofficial 45-47, and that's just an ordinary time.
Hristo Markov of Bulgaria in the 4th round of the men's triple jump is enjoying a very comfortable lead of 58 feet 1 inch. He has really been the benefactor of some great tailwinds this afternoon. Big jump for Markov. His step almost landed in the pit. Hristo Markov, already out at 58 feet 1 inch from the 1st round, is really putting the hammer down in this competition. You can see he is full out on the runway, makes a slight adjustment just before the board, hits very close to fouling. Watch how close his step lands to the pit, stretches it out very close to the world record sign. 58 feet 9.5 inches. Not only a new championship record, but a new European record, and only 2 inches behind Willie Banks's world outdoor record. Now, Michael Conley of the United States, 4th round. He's currently in 3rd, has a lot of distance to make up to catch up to Markov. And a good jump for Conley. 57 feet, 11 inches. That moves him into 2nd place and much closer to Markov. Let's go back up to the studio and Dick Enberg.
Tough to pick up a ride here in Rome.
Irkin of the Soviet Union, the leading qualifier from yesterday, currently standing in 4th place. And an excellent jump. Improving his position from 4th to 3rd place with 57 feet, 2¼ inches. Now, how many times have we seen this situation? It's the final round and the final jumper, and it's Michael Conley. He had to break the world indoor record to win the national championships this winter. He had to go to the 6th jump to win the world indoor championships, and now in 2nd place, he must jump over 58 feet, 9½ inches to secure the gold medal here in Rome. Can he go to the well one more time? And it's an excellent jump. But he can tell that it isn't quite enough. 57 feet, 11¾ inches, a slight improvement. He remains in 2nd place, but he must settle for the silver medal. Taking another look at it, Michael Conley, looking for a favorable tailwind all afternoon, has to chop his step slightly here once again. Otherwise, his technique was excellent, but he just couldn't carry the amount of speed into the pit that he had to match Markov's 58 9.5. Let's face it, we're talking about a jump very close to the world record. Here you can see his knees are coming up nicely, his arms are coming up nicely, but he had to chop slightly before the end. Very solid through the phases of the jump. An excellent extension here, but just not quite enough. There's always next year.
So Bulgaria celebrates another gold yesterday in the high jump, today in the triple jump. Christo Markov, 58.9½. That's just 2 inches shy of Willie Banks' world record, and Markov with a sensational series of jumps. Mike Conley
went to the well one too many times. He had a great performance, but Markov was just very tough today.
Markov was a hard person to meet today. He jumped 17.92, and for things to click right for me, I would have had to get a good win like he got in the first 3 rounds, and turned around in the last 3 jumps. They had a negative win, but I'm going to go back home, put it all together, and train hard for the Olympic Games and hope to get a good one there.
In the 4th round of the women's discus, 26-year-old Martina Hellman of East Germany, the defending champion, had her winning throw. She stands 5'10", weighs 181 pounds, with a very good throw of 235 feet even to capture the gold. Diana Gronsky of East Germany, the favorite going in, settled for the silver. Zveranka Kristeva, Bulgaria, the bronze. Now let's go to Dick. He's with film historian Bud Greenspan.
Well, the old saying, Charlie,
to react 3 times faster than everybody else. I would think that if they ever do scientific tests on Mr. Johnson, it'll be a far greater. Here you see at the start of the race, it's a true race, and look at Johnson go out there. By the first 3 meters, he is out by about a meter, and that's where the race was won.
Thanks, Bud. In red, center of the screen, the muscular Ben Johnson's incredibly fast start, a link to 100-meter history. The Canadians' amazing 9.83, a Sunday to remember in Rome. Here's our report from Dwight Stones.
Dick, not only her best event, but her favorite event. She gets to start the 2nd day. She's a little bit fresher from last night. She knows she has a big lead on the world record, and she can really relax and punch one here. Beside the fact, she's the co-holder of the world record in the long jump. And she gets a good one right off the bat. 23 feet, 5 1/4 inches for Jackie Joyner-Kersee. Her technique is so good. She's got great sprint speed on the runway, and she gets all of the board. You can see right next to the end of it. Tremendous extension into the pit. An outstanding leap. That'll make her feel good. Let's go back up to the booth.
Sabina Bush, who you see right here, is one of the favorites in this event. She's in the blue top and the white shorts. She just got in this event 2 years ago, and the first try she went 53.8, which is phenomenal. She's the only woman in this field to break 50 seconds for the flat 400.
Sabina Bush in lane 6, and already she has closed the stagger on Tatamuya.
Pace is so important in this event, Charlie, because the pattern, their steps, is so important. But Sabina Bush has been known to be ragged at times with her hurling, but right here she's looking very strong.
Meanwhile, Latanya Sheffield of the United States outside in lane 8, the worst possible lane you can have, running very well. Again, the top 4 finishers will move through to the finals on Thursday.
And right there before this 7th hurdle was Tanya Sheffield in all blue. She couldn't get her steps right, and she was really slowing down. But look right in the middle lane at Sabina Bush. She's very much in control of her race right here.
Sheffield dropping way back, and it is Sabina Bush with the lead over the last hurdle, and it's going to be a battle to see who makes it through to the finals. Sandra Farmer finishes 2nd from Jamaica, so those 2 are through for sure, and when we look at the replay, we'll see if we can pick up 3 and 4. But it's a favorite, Sabina Bush, moving through.
You can see Sabina Bush is so far in the lead. She's hurling real well on the curve, and right here is where you get tired. It's so hard to keep your step pattern in control. And you see on the outside, Sheffield stutters that step right there. But right here, you watch Sabina. Good control over the hurdle, good arm drive right here. And that's what you need right here, good arm drive. Even though she stutters her steps right there, she still finished well ahead.
And here's a look at the finish. And yes, Shawanda Williams does come through along with Hollander into the final. Lane 8.
Judy Brown King almost didn't make it to the final of TAC. What happened in the semifinal is that she stumbled on the 8th hurdle. She almost stopped dead in her steps, and then someone yelled from her in the crowd, "Get going, Judy," and she did. She made it to the final, won the final, and is our best hurdler.
Top four finishers here move through to the finals on Thursday. And it is Cornelia Ulrich in lane 3 of East Germany who takes the early lead.
She's in the blue top and white pants, and Charlie, she used to be a 100-meter hurdler, so she can hurdle well. The key for her is, can she hold up after 300 meters?
Deborah Flintoff-King way outside in lane 8 is also running well as we come back. You see Judy Brown-King, she's in 3rd or 4th right now as Cornelia Ulrich in lane 3 of East Germany has the lead.
The key to this race is your step pattern, and right now Ulrich she's keeping her pattern. Also Flintoff in the green shorts, she's very strong. She's a real strength runner right here.
Ulrich in 3, Flintoff-King outside in lane 8. Again, the top 4 finishers move through. Ambrosina, the Soviet Union, is in lane 1. Here comes Judy Brown-King at the lead, and I believe that she does make it to move through. An unofficial 54.73. Cornelia Ulrich of East Germany winning the heat. Deborah Flintoff-King 2nd. Ambrosina finishing 3rd, and I believe Judy Brown-King was in there at 4th.
I think she came on at the end, but Ulrich right here, you can tell that she's a strong runner. She's got good arm power, and she likes to have her lead leg be her right leg. That means that she's taking 15 steps between hurdles so that she can have the same leg come up every time. She's got a good lead here, and she doesn't look like she's pressing. Debbie Flintoff coming up on the outside is very strong. I pick her to medal in the final.
Finals on when we return to Rome.
He's no longer invincible. Now he has to run a good to great race because of Danny Harris.
Edwin Moses has set the world record 4 times. The last time that he set it, 1983, 47.02. The finals, men's 400 hurdles. The lane assignments. Henry Omiki of Nigeria is in 1. Amadou Diaba of Senegal is in 2. Moses in a perfect position in lane 3. Harold Schmidt of West Germany is in 4 outside of Moses. Danny Harris, United States, is in 5 outside of Schmidt. Then in 6 is Sven Nylander of Sweden. In 7 is Chris Akabuzi of Great Britain, only a first-year hurdler. And in 8 is Jose Alonso of Spain.
Edwin has the best position in this race. He can watch Schmid and Harris the whole way and kind of relax because he'll always know where he is. Whereas Danny Harris on the right of your screen in lane 5, he's going to run a little bit scared, which means he'll probably go out fast and maybe faster than he wants to. Harold Schmid in the middle, very canny runner. He'll run very evenly and really make a big push coming off the last turn. This is a great confrontation. Harold Schmid has been the class of Europe for many, many years. The first end of the bookends. He was the man who beat Edwin Moses over 9 years ago. And then earlier this year, Danny Harris finally beat Edwin Moses again after 107 finals. So this is the first time, I think, that all 3 men have been together. We're going to see who has bragging rights.
Wind conditions, same as yesterday, tailwind down the back straight.
Earlier, Edwin was on the back straight. Charlie, you pointed that out, and he was counting steps down to that hurdle where he tripped up yesterday. And it was on the 3rd hurdle on the backstretch, and he wants to make sure his steps are down. The wind, fortunately, has shifted. It's not blowing down the back straight the way it was yesterday.
Danny Harris, as you saw, in lane 5. In 4 is Schmidt. Moses is in 3. Quick possibility of a world record.
I think there is. If Edwin runs a smooth, controlled race, he wants to set the record. He trained to set the record. The only thing that'll prevent him if he presses too hard and messes up his steps.
And it is a fair start, and Moses gets a good start.
He had a great start.
He comes out smoking, and he's the first man to the first hurdle. Danny Harris is in 2nd.
He is really going for it. Edwin is really out for the record.
Edwin closing down the stagger on Schmidt. As you can see, he has almost caught him in the stagger. Now he goes after Danny Harris.
Edwin wants the record. This is as fast as I've ever seen him go out. He is really moving.
He's 2 to 3 meters out in front of the field. And it is Harris 2nd and Schmidt.
The crowd senses it. They know he's out there. If he can hang on, he's got it. Now we see how strong Edwin is. Boy, is he strong. Here comes Danny Harris.
And one flight of hurdles to go. It is Schmidt coming up also. It is Edwin Moses, Harris, Schmidt. It is Moses, Harris, Schmidt at the lead.
What a race.
An unofficial 47-48. That will be if it holds a new championship record.
You can't get any closer than that. Edwin was the man who made that race. He wanted that record.
Oh, the three best in the world, and they all with a peak performance.
Edwin Moses ran the greatest race I've ever seen him run. Doesn't matter that he didn't get the world record. He went out and said, okay, boys, I'm going out there. You have to catch me. And he ran maybe a little too hard in the first half of the race, but he said, boy, this is it. We're all three here. You guys are going to have to catch me. They do on the final straightaway, but Edwin showed that he really is the class of 400-meter runners in the world. He has power, strength, and now as we see, the determination to hold on all the way to the end. It's going to be very, very, very close.
Oh, hold it, hold it, hold it right there. Oh, you got to check the photo. Harris is in there so close at second. It's the torso on the photo timer. Schmidt is third. I still see it Moses, Harris, and Schmidt in that order. But it gets closer as we take another look at it. Now, Edwin has started to celebrate. Maybe he knows something we don't know. We'll find out when we get back to the World Championships in Rome. The men's 400 meters hurdles, Edwin Moses is the winner. His time 47:46, a championship record. 21-year-old Danny Harris finishes second with a personal best. Harold Schmidt at age 29 finishes third. First time in history that three men have finished under 48 seconds. Let's go down to Dwight Stone.
Charlie, I have Edwin Moses here, and Edwin, I don't suppose you want one to be any closer than that. What was happening at that particular time?
Well, at this point in the race, I knew that I had about a half a step on everyone, and I just kept in control of the race. And I was gaining confidence all the way. I was really worried about a fast pace or being behind a half a step at this point. And right here, it was everything just went the way that I had seen it last night in my dreams. And this point of the race, I felt very good. And going to the tape, it was a fight for the finish. And for an old man, I didn't do too bad. You know what I mean.
I think a lot of people don't understand that for the last couple of weeks, you haven't really been 100%. To have to go through rounds like this and have to be really pushed in a final, that's as much as you had in you.
That's about as good as I expected to do. I figured that it would take about 47:50, and I did it. I wasn't feeling good in Berlin in the last 2 weeks. I've been struggling to get rest properly, so I feel good. I feel good about it. And I just hope we win some more medals.
You did a great job. See you next year.
Okay.
Back up to Charlie in the booth.
And here's the photo of Edwin's dreams. This is the official photo, Frank Shorter.
And in this photo, for first place, I think it's pretty apparent that Edwin's torso, he's on the top, and you count lines back. So take a line from Edwin's torso down, and that's the furthest line on the right. Go another line to the left, and another line, and that's a thousandth of a second, I think, or a hundredth of a second. Draw the line down, and you can see it's very close between Harris and Schmidt.
And there was a little bit of controversy right at the finish. You can see it on the head-on, and because of this, the official results went to the jury of appeals.
Well, Edwin, if you watch him, he's on the right-hand side. He comes and drifts over in his lane. He came over the last hurdle. He was on the left-hand side of the lane. Watch him drift, and he bumps a little bit. That may have been what went to the jury because the photo itself is very, very explicit.
But they did confirm the
one in Helsinki. The defending champion, Sergei Litvinov. He's 29 years of age, a teacher in Rostov in the Ukraine. And here is his winning throw of 272 feet, 6 inches. The silver medalist in Moscow in 1980, Litvinov leads a 1-2 Soviet finish in the hammer. His teammate Tom takes second. The East German Haber is third. In the 400-meter semis heading for home, Great Britain's Derek Redmond in white, lane 4, leads. He'll win this semi. But the story, the much-heralded Ohio State junior Butch Reynolds in blue, struggling in lane 2. He must finish in the top 4 to qualify. Reynolds with the 3 fastest times this year in the 400 barely manages 4th by 0.03 of a second. He is in the final 8. but barely, as was the case with Ridey Haley, who finished 4th in his semi. Innocent Egbunike, remember that name, from Nigeria. He ran his 400 in a world championship record time, the man to beat. From East Germany, Thomas Schönleber, he should medal. The rest of the cast, Hernandez of Cuba, Redmond, who won that heat, the Great Britain star, Tiaka of Ivory Coast, and Couture of Kenya. Bert Cameron, the Jamaican who won in Helsinki, failed to qualify. Well, looking ahead, Jackie joined.
The favorites are Tom McKeon in 5, Jose Luis Barbosa in 6, and Billy Cancello in 7, in their lanes around the turn. Then they'll break for the pole.
And Jose Luis Barbosa seems to be the man going out fast. Let's see when he cuts to the pole if he takes it. Now he's easing. No, he's going to take the lead. Barbosa will be in the lead, and Billy Cancello on the left ran very easily around the first turn.
And Peter Elliott, who we expected to take the lead, is back in 4th place.
That's because Barbosa wants the lead. He's going out very fast.
Marai of Kenya is running 2nd as Cancello has now moved up to 4th. Labi of Morocco is 3rd. Peter Elliott working his way on the inside.
And Billy Cancello, who is the favorite, just seems to drift up as he wants to.
Jose Luis Barbosa, as we come to the bell. Fauzi Labi of Morocco is running 2nd. Cancello is running 3rd.
And Barbosa is really pushing the pace. I think he wants to get away from Cancello. But Cancello now moving up into 2nd looks very easy.
Meanwhile, Tom McKeon of Great Britain is back in about 5th. Cancello now makes his move. He takes the lead from Barbosa on the back straight. Here comes Elliott inside, and he moves through to 3rd.
And Cancello had waited in the heats way until the straightaway to make his move. He made it early. Let's see if it's too early. Here comes Barbosa back. Elliott running very well in 3rd. Much better than people expected.
Cancello, Barbosa, Elliott, and then Labi, but it's down to a 3-man race.
And here it is, the strength, and look at Billy Cancello. Boy, is he strong.
And Elliott moves in on the battle for 2nd. He's got 2nd place. It is Cancello, Elliott, and Barbosa. Gold, silver, and bronze, and unofficial 1:43.07. That is fastest in the world this year.
Fantastic stretch run. Usually you wait until the final straightaway to make the move, but Billy Cancello took it with 250 meters to go and just powers home. And Peter Elliott, who trained specifically for this race, hadn't run very much all this year, shows that it was worthwhile coming through in 2nd place. But Billy Cancello is the class of the world this year.
Oh, what an assault, but Sebastian Coe's 6-year-old record does survive 25-year-old Billy Cancello with an impressive win. A Messiah tribesman from Nairobi. Great Britain's Peter Elliott, a solid run, gets 2nd, and Barbosa of Brazil earns the bronze.
Made pentathlon to make it the heptathlon, so it's taken some time for her to learn the javelin. She's had some good throws, but she has some technical difficulties. She has to keep the point close to her face so she can throw through it. And not a great throw here, but enough. 149 feet, 10 inches. Early today, before the athletes arrived, Dick went to a special spot in Olympic Stadium.
It's quiet now. We're between sessions of day 4. Times he finished 11th in the World Finals yesterday. Quite remarkable in that Bottinelli has succeeded despite the disadvantage of a left arm withered by a bout with polio in his youth. A physical shortcoming that denies him the full power of others. And the arms and hands are so important in this event. Mike Conley.
In 10-meter hurdles, top 4 finishers through to the final. Here are the lane assignments. First, the world record, Ronaldo Skeets Nehemiah with a 12:93, and that's some 6 years old. All right, Krzysztof Platek of Poland is in lane 1. Brugera is in 2. John Ridgen is in 3. Carlos Sala in 4. Alexander Markin is in 5. Greg Foster of the United States is in 6. Aleš Hofer of Czechoslovakia is in 7. And Florian Schwarthoff is in lane 8. Greg Foster, the favorite.
And he should have no trouble in this heat, Charlie, if he doesn't hit any hurdles. Greg has been plagued throughout his career really with misfortune. He's a wonderful athlete. He's a good technician, and yet he gets into big races, big finals, and he starts to hit hurdles.
Again, the top 4 finishers move through to the final. Foster with just a fair start. Sala got the best start, and here comes Foster. Foster and Sala. Brugera over in 2. And it is Foster and Brugera And now it is Ridgen, it is Foster, Ridgen. Then we're going to have to check to see who finishes 3 and 4. 13:40 is the time, and it's not really that fast.
Greg Foster not out particularly fast, but he's got good technique, and so he knows he'll qualify if he just runs through it well. And he just uses his technique, runs between the hurdles, which is the secret in this race, doesn't press too hard at the end over the last hurdle, and Ridgen just comes through and nips him, and he doesn't care.
And it looks as if Brugera, and was that Markin that also made it through? We'll have to see again.
Greg Foster coming over, great technique. I think what is the trouble for Greg is that he may be too strong for his own body. He's just such a big man. Look at his legs. He's got these huge thighs, and it's hard for him to control his strength and speed between the hurdles. But when he can, he's the fastest man in the world over the hurdles.
And it's close for fourth. It may be Carlos Sala.
And we'll have the
States is in lane 1, and he might make it through. We'll just have to wait and see. Bakosh, Hudetz, Mark McCoy, Stefan Kerestan, Alan Jackson, Nigel Walker, Igor Kazanov. In lane 4 is Mark McCoy. In lane 5 is Stefan Kerestan. Those would be the 2 favorites in this heat. And the top 4 finishers will move through to the final.
Either of these 2 men can give Greg Foster a real run in the final. So we want to watch them very closely to see who looks to be in better form.
McCoy with a good start. A hurdle goes down. That was Hudetz on his left. Pierce is running well over in lane 1. It is McCoy and it is Pierce. And Pierce and McCoy, now they're going to have pressure from the outside. I believe it was McCoy, Pierce, and could have been Colin Jackson of Great Britain and Kazanov of the Soviet Union. That, of course, is very unofficial.
The Canadians have been working on their starts. Mark McCoy in all red, just like Ben Johnson, out first. And he's got the best technique of anyone in this field, too, running very well. Jack Pierce in lane 1 also running well. Kind of a surprise. McCoy's not. And from this race, we see that if Jack Pierce can run this well or a little better in the final, he may medal.
Stefan Kerestan hit 4 hurdles. He does not qualify.
So the finals are set for Thursday, a traditionally strong U.S. event, and the defending champion from Helsinki, Greg Foster, is in along with American teammate from Morgan State, Jack Pierce. Another man to watch, Canadian Mark McCoy. Well, the 200 who won the silver behind Valerie Briscoe in the '84 Olympics. Griffith, the flamboyant former UCLA star, shocked the style-minded fans here in Rome with this sleek speed skater look. It didn't hurt her. Her opponents watched her finish first in her early round heat of the 200 meters.
Nicotin of the Soviet Union is in 4th. Jackie Joyner-Kersee is in 5. Yuning Zhu of China, Aka Bamer, and Marion Reichelt. And it's all against the time, against the clock, and most of all, it is against yourself.
That's what makes this so exciting, because Jackie knows what she has to run. 2:14. It doesn't matter what place she is in this as long as she has that time. Bamer is going to the lead. She's run 2:06, and she's got a broken collarbone here. Now, the thing with Bamer is she's going to have to beat Jane Fredericks at least by 7 seconds to capture the bronze.
Meanwhile, we're keeping an unofficial clock on Jackie Joyner-Kersee. She goes through at 200, just over 32 seconds. So she is in reality ahead of a very steady pace for the world record. Her trap is if she gets carried away. Jane Frederick is in 4th place.
Jackie is a sprinter. That's what makes this a little hard for her. 800 meters is not a sprint. You have to pace yourself. But Jackie looks very relaxed here, and she's in a good position to run a good time.
And meanwhile, Jane Frederick just cruising up on the outside. If she stays within 7 seconds of Bamer and Zhu, then she has the bronze medal. This is her 66th competition. It would be her first international medal in 10 years. She goes through at 69.6. She slowed down just a little. She wanted to go through at 67 seconds.
Jackie's going to have to pick it up on this backstretch, and I think the crowd's going to be with her. She's going to her arms right here. She knows she's got to pick it up at least 2 seconds this last lap.
And there is no wind. It has been hot today. It's been very muggy. We had a tailwind earlier, but no wind now. It is very still.
Look at Jane Frederick. She's trying to take the lead. Her PR is 2:10, her best time, but she's going for it. But here goes to East Germany, because she knows she has to run very fast to medal.
She goes through 141.3. She's back on world record pace.
All right, Jackie, it's the last 200. She's got to go to her arms because I know she's tired, but she's got to go to her arms. But East German, she's already has a fast time. She's trying to get a medal herself.
Bamer out in front. She's going to win this race. If Frederick stays within 7 seconds of her, she will have her medal, and Jackie Joyner-Kersee is going against the clock, against herself for the record. There it is. What do we have? Unofficial 2:16:31.
Oh, so close.
Not going to be enough.
No, but she still got the gold, and it was a little slow pace for Jackie. I think she thought it would go out much quicker. Some of those girls had 2:06 best times. Jackie probably thought the first lap was going to be a lot faster.
The gold medal.
She's got the gold.
But I feel disappointed, and she does too.
But of course, Jackie missed the gold medal in Los Angeles, so she does have her gold here, and we're going to see a lot more from Jackie Joyner-Kersee because she is so talented, and she's not that old. She still has a lot of improvement in her.
Larisa Nikotina of the Soviet Union will finish second, and she had that going in. Jane Frederick does finish third for the United States. Oh, what a moment for her. It's been a long 10 years for Jane.
She's been around so long, and everyone thought of Jane Fredericks in the heptathlon with the United States. Jackie's the leader in the...
Calvin Smith in lane 6, not that good a start, but he runs the turn so well. But right now, in lane 5, it is John Regis of Great Britain. It is Regis and Calvin Smith as they come around to the final straight. In lane 2, it's Pavoni of Italy. But it is Regis and Calvin Smith. John Regis, Calvin Smith finish 1-2. Mahorn of Canada, I believe, got through along with Pier Francesco Pavoni of Italy.
Calvin Smith in lane 6. On his left, John Regis from Great Britain coming through, running the turn better. But look how close Calvin is to the turn. He runs it better. Regis got there first. Now down the home straight. Is Calvin relaxing, or is he letting Regis go, or is he trying to win? I think Calvin was trying to win, or at least pull up even. And it looks like Calvin had him by a little bit.
Wallace Spearman of the United States, 5th, does not move through. Second, semifinal men's 200 meters, lane 1. Krylov Wright is in 2, Kobats in 3. Da Silva in 4, Kanerve is in 5, Hurd is in 6, Tilley in 7, and Kip Kimboy in 8. Floyd Hurd of the United States with a pretty good start. He is in lane 6. Inside of him is Kanerve, and inside of Kanerve is Da Silva. And coming around the turn, it is Floyd Hurd. Hurd with Kanerve inside of him, and then Da Silva, and moving in 3 is Kobats. But it is Floyd Hurd coming across with Krylov, I believe, of the Soviet Union inside in lane 1. Kanerve was also there. We'll have to check for 4 to make sure. We'll take a look at that stretch run.
Floyd Hurd coming off the turn. It's hard to tell now, but he was first when they came off the turn. He just relaxes down the straightaway, and that's the key in this race, to get up to full speed and then relax down the straightaway. This is the faster of the 2 heats. Floyd Hurd relaxing through to the finish. He looks very good heading into the final.
So the final 8 set for the men's 200. We'll see that later in our program this evening. Calvin Smith with a shot to repeat his Helsinki victory. Good story here in Floyd Hurd of the United States. He was an alternate. He's in the competition only because...
Silke Gladish, the favorite. East Germany is in 6. Merlene Adi of Jamaica is in 7. Falalat Ogunkoya of Nigeria is in lane 8. Of the final 8. Silke Gladish of East Germany in lane 6, out with a good start as expected. Merlene Adi also with an excellent start, already closing the stagger as they come around the turn. It is Gladish. Adi dropping back a little. Georgieva of Bulgaria running well in lane 3, and here comes Adi. And also that is that Pam Marshall? Yes. And she will move through to the finals. Top 4 finishers through to the finals.
Merlene Adi of Jamaica. She trains now in the United States. Looks very strong the last 50 meters. That's when she really hits her top speed. Coming out of the curve on the outside We see Gladys in the blue top and white shorts. She gets a phenomenal start because she's got those short legs. She gets into a running stride very quickly. On the inside of her is Georgieva with a red top. She also is short. She has a good start. This is where, though, Atlee starts putting on the burner. She has that extra gear the last 10 meters, very relaxed. Pam Marshall in the blue also is a very tall runner. She comes up for third, and she will make the final.
Here are the lane assignments in the second semifinals. Women's 200, lane 1 is Ulrika Savari, lane 2 from Poland, Eva Kasperczyk from the Soviet Union in 3, Maya Azarashvili. Wynn Torrance of the United States is in 4. Florence Griffith of the United States is in 5. Mary Onyali of Nigeria is in 6. Heike Morgenstern of East Germany is in 7. And Marie Cazier of France is in lane 8. All eyes drawn to lane 5. That's Florence Griffith in that full speed suit. Looks like Spider-Woman. She's in lane 5. Outside of her is Mary Onyali in lane 6. And Florence is running well. It is Florence Griffith in lane 5. In lane 2 is Kasperczyk. Onyali, Griffith, Kasperczyk, and Gwen Torrance. All 4 will move through to the final.
The good thing with that bodysuit that Florence is running well, too, because everybody is watching her. Florence came out loud. She came out very late in the season, around March, but look at her here with a very good start. Florence has one of the best curves of anybody. She has the lead here. She's making everybody run at her. Good drive all the way through. Kasperczyk on the inside lane 2, running strongly. And I think looks like Gwen Torrance also is coming through to make it to the final in all white.
So the USA well represented. All 3 ladies make it through to the finals of the 200 meters. Florence Griffith, spacesuit and all, looks to be an outstanding chance.
And I hope, looking at the whole situation with, Reynolds running 44 once and all this stuff. Like when I first saw his 44.09, I think I went and overtrained for that first day. I went and just did what I usually do in 1 week in 1 day. But that didn't really help that much because I knew, well, he's blessed. God has blessed him with, that time, and I can't change it for him. So instead, I just started training myself, started putting more effort into what I can do within myself instead of what I can do, against other people. I just started thinking about, well, if I could train this hard, I could do a lot better, than people expect me to do.
I think I'm sparking the rest of the quarter miles to run their best. And so far, like myself, I hate to be beaten. And I guess they feeling the same way and getting a little deeper down and bring out the best times in them. But hopefully when we line up again, head-to-head, I'll come out on top again.
Die Explosion in der Weise, diese Entwicklung.
The other 400-meter runners will make the times amazingly high in Rome. With the times I've run this year, I feel I'll definitely be in the finals, but I can't predict if I'll win a medal.
The Olympics 1968 in the thin air of Mexico City, American Lee Evans ran a 400-meter race which still defines the event. Officially 43.86. Almost 20 years later, that record still stands. And years later, Evans would coach the national Nigerian team. One of his pupils, Innocent Egbunike. Egbunike is ready. The 400 finals coming up.
Time performers, of course, Lee Evans with the world record. Larry James, Butch Reynolds, Innocent Egbunike, both in the race here, and Alberto Juan Terena of Cuba. Here are the assignments. In lane 1 is Roddy Haley of the United States. Roberto Hernandez of Cuba is in 2. Tomas Schönleber, East Germany, is in 3. Gabriel Tiaco of the Ivory Coast is in 4. Innocent Egbunike of Nigeria is in 5. Derek Redmond of Great Britain is in 6. Butch Reynolds of the United States is in 7. And David Kitur of Kenya is in lane 8.
Innocent Egbunike, the man we picked to win this race. Butch Reynolds, who was in great form earlier this year, but he's had a long, long season. If he were in better shape, more rested, it would be a classic confrontation.
Men's 400-meter finals. And Butch Reynolds with a good start outside. He is in lane 7.
Egbunike going out very, very fast.
Egbunike closing the stagger on Derek Redmond. Egbunike now in the lead off of the stagger as Reynolds, 2 runners outside of him, begins to drop back. Reynolds on the left is really laboring at this point. And it is Innocent Egbunike
And Thomas Schoenleber coming up on the inside. Could have an upset here.
Schoenleber takes the lead. Thomas Schoenleber of East Germany. It is Schoenleber, Egbunike, and then Butch Reynolds comes in to save the bronze. What an upset. Thomas Schoenleber of East Germany, surprising everyone.
Including himself. He does not believe he did this. Thomas Schoenleber on the inside in the blue from East Germany, white shirt, showing that strength and the ability to run heats as well as the final does show. He's the best world junior runner for a long, long time. Had little off time last year. Coming back, showing right here that he has the strength to make it through the heats, the semifinals, and the finals.
An unofficial 44:34, if it stands, a European record for this man with a smile, Thomas Schoenleber of East Germany.
3 for Schoenleber. Egbunike earns the silver, and Butch Reynolds of the U.S. takes the bronze. Schoenleber in German means beautiful life. I guess gold is beautiful, and for Butch...
I think this season was just too darn long.
Thompson in lane 3 won, but not by a large margin. This is a man who has not lost a decathlon in 9 years through 12 international events. His winning time was 10:67, but his margin gives him only 4 points on the field. Now let's go to Dwight Stones.
The second event of the decathlon, the long jump, and Torsten Voss of East Germany on the runway for his third attempt. He's an excellent long jumper. And on this attempt, 25.8¼ inches, right about average for Voss. Very good points. Now, Daley Thompson. He was having a real problem in the long jump. This was his third attempt. He started out in track and field as a long jumper. And a very disappointing performance for Thompson. 24 feet, 8¼ inches, way below par for him. Now the third attempt of Jürgen Hinkson. He really needed to make up for a disappointing performance in the 100 meters. And Hinkson redeems himself with a mark of 25 feet, 2 inches. Back on track for Hinkson. Third event, shot put. Daley Thompson. Third throw. 49 feet, 6¼ inches. He's still way behind his record pace. Now, the United States' Gary Kinder. He really gets into this event. 53 feet, 3 inches. Now let's go back to Dick.
Next up.
A couple days, we heard she was sick. We hope the rest day yesterday took care of the problems.
Former world record holder, very good at 400 meters, still working on it. Judy Brown-King in lane 7. Sabina Bush in lane 3. Bush with a good start. And she and Ulrich go out stride for stride in lanes 3 and 4.
Way out in front, too, is Debbie Flintoff-King from Australia. She's in lane 8, and she's strong.
Sabina Bush in 3, Ulrich in 4. Flintoff-King outside in lane 5.
Both these Germans are really ready for this event. You can see them in the blue tops and the white shorts. It looks like their step pattern is going well. Also, Sandra Farmer on the outside in the yellow top and green shorts is really running well right here, and she seems that her steps are fine.
And Judy Brown-King of the United States dropping way back. She is out of this race, and is Sabina Bush. Sabina Bush outside. It is Sandra Farmer of Jamaica. It is Bush and Sandra Farmer. It is Sabina Bush. And then outside in 8, Deborah Flintoff-King for second, and Cornelia Ulrich of East Germany for third.
Sabina Bush is so strong and she's so fast that even if she makes even a few mistakes, she still runs well. Here we see Sabina Bush, right? She has the lead right here. She's so strong. It's so hard to get your legs up at this point. You're so tight, but yet she's keeping her form. She keeps her arms down very low. All of a sudden now on the outside, you see Flintoff. Very good form right here. Doesn't have to chop her stride at all. But also the East German in the second lane. Ulrich is coming up. Sandra Farmer, they're all fighting for the bronze because Sabina Bush has the gold. Flintoff takes the silver. Ooh, it's going to be close. It looks like the other East German also got the bronze.
Cornelia Ulrich finishing third. That, of course, is all unofficial. The time, unofficially, 53:63, if that holds a championship record.
East German women, what a juggernaut. It's the most powerful in the world by far. 2 more medals. Greg Foster will be shooting for 22-year-old Ronaldo Skeets Nehemiah in red, running 12.93 in Zurich in 1981, and it was Greg Foster in white that chased him home. Nehemiah later would wear the red of the San Francisco 49ers and tried to hurdle defensive backs. The 110 highs are next.
Lost his balance, ran into Mark McCoy, and they both just come crashing down. McCoy's trying to stay away, but Foster is so big that once he gets out of going one direction, he just can't hold himself together, and they both go down.
The world record is held by Ronaldo Skeets Nehemiah of 12.93, and here are the lane assignments in the final today. Igor Kazanov of the Soviet Union is in lane 1. Colin Jackson of Great Britain is in 2. Greg Foster in 3. Mark McCoy in 4. Jack Pierce of the United States is in 5. John Ridgen of Great Britain is in 6. Carlos Sala of Spain is in 7. And Arto Brugger of Finland is in lane 8. 10 flights of hurdles.
If Greg Foster in the blue runs a technically correct race, he will win. He's the fastest man in the field. But with Greg, over the last few years, it's win or crash and burn.
Mark McCoy, probably the best start in the field. He's in lane 4. And Foster is left in the blocks, gets a terrible start. McCoy has the lead. Colin Jackson running well. He drives back. Here comes Foster. Foster has to come from behind. It is Foster. Foster. And he takes it. John Ridgen of Great Britain finishes second, and Colin Jackson finishes third. And look at Foster celebrate.
That's one happy man. He knows he ran that technically correct race. Not his greatest race, because he had a terrible start, but he knows from the third hurdle on, it was all Greg Foster. That is one happy man.
Unofficial 13:21, and the wind is okay.
Now he realizes he's tired. He was so elated, he did not know he was tired.
Oh, that's an excellent time for Greg Foster.
Especially given his start. He knows how lucky he was to really be only that far behind. Maybe he was thinking technique, but look at Mark McCoy in the red. Boy, Greg Foster, he's a big man. It's hard for him to get going anyway, even when he reacts with everyone else. So he's at a disadvantage. But look, technically, he's so good. He's almost hurdling at the same time, even though he looks to be behind. And this is where he starts to power and catch up. One more hurdle, he's going to start to draw even. Now we have it a little later on, and he is just literally running away with the race. He's just so much quicker in between the hurdles, so controlled that if he can keep himself going in one direction and not sideways, he's the best in the world.
In many respects, the best race that he has ever run. He had the late start. Now watch his technique over the hurdles. Watch how close he comes. And he's still brushing. He butts 1 and 2. He hits the first 3. Clears 4.
Look how his head stays the same, and McCoy's head goes down as they go over the hurdles. McCoy moves his head. Foster's head stays right even. Great technique. McCoy was, when you say the word ragged, that's what McCoy was in this race.
And back to the start.
Watch McCoy in red. He is off. Foster is left, but it doesn't matter. And this is the kind of race that if you're a good technician, the way Greg Foster is, once he gets rolling, and it took him 3 hurdles to get there, top end, he was the fastest man. Watch McCoy's head go down as he hurdles. Boom, it goes down. Greg Foster's head stays even. Better technique. Once he gets rolling, Greg Foster is very, very hard to catch.
Watch out there.
And here's the champion, Greg Foster of the United States.
Himself after falls in the World Indoors and the Pan Ams, and reaffirms his position as the world's #1. Hey, surprise.
3 weeks, that's all I thought about. Getting out here and not making any mistakes. I think in order for me yesterday, in order for me to lose, I would have to come out here and make a mistake. And I made one at the beginning, but I caught myself and came back at the second or third hurdle. And I'm happy for that. Like I said, it's a longer race outdoors. It's a little bit easier to catch up, but I didn't want to take any chances, so I tried not to press and just gradually get back up there.
My colleague Frank Schroeder says you cleared the last 2 hurdles by a ton. Were you just determined to make sure you got over those last 2 and get to the finish line in good shape?
Oh, yes. I was, I knew I was behind from the beginning. I didn't know where I was in the race at the last 2-3 hurdles. And I thought I'd just go ahead and reconstruct at 8 and just go all out and hopefully come out on top. And thank God I did.
The monkey's off your back. Congratulations.
It's definitely all. Thanks a lot, Dwight.
And lane 1, Ava Kasperczyk of Poland is in 2. Silke Gladish of East Germany in 3. Merlene Ottey of Jamaica is in 4. Florence Griffith of the United States is in 5. Mary Onyali of Nigeria is in 6. Nadezhda Georgieva of Bulgaria is in 7. And Gwen Torrance of America is in lane 8. The world record is 21:71, co-held by Koch and Dreschler. Silke Gladish in lane 3. Florence Griffith is in lane 5, running without the bodysuit. Merlene Ottey is in 4. 3, 4, and 5 should be the race. It is Silke Gladish in 3, and she may just run away from it. Coming into the final straight, it is Gladish. Gladish is out in front by 5 or 6 meters. Here comes Merlene Ottey. Here comes Florence Griffith. It's going to be Gladish, Griffith, Ottey. 1, 2, 3. Pam Marshall of the United States finishes 4th.
Look at that time.
21:73 unofficial. That is close to the world record.
Silke Gladish, she's had the confidence going into this race. She won the 100 meters, and then last week she had her best time in the 200 meters, 21:79. She was ready. Silke Gladish has such a great start. She just has the field all behind her. Everyone's trying to chase her. But look at her right here. Even though she's got the best speed out of the block, she controls the race because she keeps her arm drive low. Quick knee coming up. Behind her, Florence Griffith in all white is just now catching Ottey. Long arms right there, really driving down through her hips, which is important to keep your control. Gladish wins by a mile, but Florence Griffith gets the silver, and Ottey again gets the bronze. Gladish, look at her. She can lean forward even when she's sprinting all out. That's hard to do. Ottey, you see in the yellow top, is kind of leaning back. That's hard. You want to keep that forward lean like Gladish. Quick steps. She just looks great. She's so much in control. You've got to be in control all the way through the 200. If you tie up, you're going to lose. Florence Griffith keeping her cool, coming on the last 10 meters for the silver. And I believe Pam Marshall was 4th.
The wind, it's all right. 1.16 meters per second. The limit, of course, as you know, is 2 meters per second. And there's the champion. And her time just off, unofficially, is just off of the world record.
So 22-year-old East German Silke Gladish adds the 200-meter gold to her 100-meter world championship. Florence Griffith of UCLA.
With the bar at 6 feet 10 3/4 Daley Thompson of Great Britain is already out of the competition. This man, Torsten Voss, cleared easily on his first attempt. 6'10 3/4, a fine jump and good points for Voss. Voss's teammate, Christian Schenk, using the old style straddle technique of high jump. Wait until you see this. This has not been done at this level for a long time. 7'4.5" with a straddle in the decathlon high jump. With that jump, Schenk moves from 12th to 2nd, and Thompson moves from 2nd to 5th.
The final of the men's 200 meters. The world record is 1972. Pietro Manet of Italy set it back in 1979. Here are the lanes. Lane 1, Atlee Mahorn of Canada. John Regis of Great Britain is in 2. Floyd Hurd of the United States is in 3. Robson da Silva, Brazil, is in 4. Vladimir Krylov of the Soviet Union is in 5. Zio Canerve of France is in 6. Pier Francesco Pavoni of Italy is in 7. And Calvin Smith of the United States is in lane 8. Calvin is the defending champion. He's almost become the forgotten man of American sprinting, and yet he's having a great year.
He's having his best year since 1983. He's in lane 8, and the 200, I think, is the only event in track and field around the track where being in lane 8 can be an advantage because he's way away from them. He runs the turn very well. He could run away, and they could never catch him.
The key to the event, of course, is running the turn, and Calvin Smith does that chore as fine as anyone in the business.
And being in lane 8, the turn will be much more gradual, so he can actually run it faster.
All right, it's Mahorn, Regis, Floyd Hurd of the United States in 3, Da Silva, Krylov, Canerve, Pavoni of Italy in 7, and Calvin Smith of the United States outside in lane 8. And Pavoni, as you see, of Italy in 7 has that wrap, and he's had that since the finals of the 100. Another crowd on hand, a great crowd, more than 60,000 once again, and they do cheer for their Italians. They are cheering for Pavoni. Men's 200 meters. Smith, Pavoni, Canerve, Krylov, Da Silva, Brazil on the right. Moving inside is Hurd, Regis, Mahorn in lane 1. And it's a good start. Floyd Hurd in 3 does not get a good start. Pavoni is closing a bit on Smith outside, who is struggling. Krylov of the Soviet Union is running well inside. In lane 2, it is Regis, Da Silva, and Krylov. And here comes Calvin Smith outside. It's going to be close between Don Regis in 2 and Calvin Smith outside in 8. Smith did not get a good start and did not pick up the distance that we thought that he would on the turn.
Calvin looked much better in the semifinals. He's on the left and the outside. John Regis in the white on the inside is not as far ahead as this angle leads you to believe, but Calvin Smith runs the straightaway very well. He was in 4th or 5th place coming off the turn. It wasn't an advantage being in front, and I think Calvin Smith hung on to win. Calvin not getting a good start. You can see that Pavoni on his inside is actually starting to make up the stagger. So Calvin not being able to see where everyone else was. He was much closer to the line in the semifinals. He did not run the turn well. You can see he's behind here, but he relaxes. Watch his head. It bobs back and forth because he's just staying relaxed, runs his own race down the straightaway, and I think he won it.
Unofficial 2017, a very good time.
Canerve of France is second. Great Britain's John Regis takes the bronze.
Calvin, I was a little worried when you had lane 8, nobody to draw off of, but because of your leg not being 100%, you think maybe the less of a turn in lane 8 might have helped you?
I feel it definitely did, and I was very glad that I got lane 8, considering the little problem I had with my leg, because running a sharper turn would have made me run a little slower, and there would be more pressure on my leg. But being way out and very little turn, it really helped.
Having to pull down those guys in the straightaway, though, did it concern you that your leg not being quite right, that it might let go on you?
Well, I didn't feel they was going to pull. It's just a matter of keep going with the injury, with the pain, I mean. And I was able to do that. And the straight wasn't too bad. There was more pain in the turn than the straight.
Were you convinced at the finish line that you were #1 because all the photographers went elsewhere?
Well, I wasn't sure. I knew that it was close, and I just wanted to see the replay and see how it turned out.
Congratulations, second-time world champion.
Thank you.
Calvin Smith lost his world record in the 100 meters to Ben Johnson on Sunday, but he wins it at about 8 o'clock this evening on Toronto.
Two-time Olympic gold medalist, defending world champion, world record holder, a disaster on the first day. He had a bad 100. He was a foot short in the long jump, down 3 feet in the shot put, cleared only 6'7" in the high jump, trailing by 162 points coming in to this event. Torsten Voss of East Germany, the man in first place. He needs to beat him here. 4.5 points for each 1/10 of a second. Daley Thompson, if he can beat him here, will have a good mindset for the second day, but more importantly, will pick up some valuable points. It is Voss and Thompson running 1, 2, and now Daley Thompson starts to drop back, and he will lose even more points. After the first day, he's in 3rd place. He is down 193 points. That is too much to make up on the second day.
5 1/4 inches. This is Carl Lewis earlier this morning before the rains came. His normal sprinting style going down the long jump runway, hits the board, and a very easy qualifier for Carl Lewis. Very happy about that. You can see here in the replay, he looks very relaxed. He hits the board very close to the end and just runs into the sky. 27 feet, 5 1/4 inches for Carl Lewis. He was the #1 qualifier. Here's Larry Myrick's, favored to take second here. This is his second attempt. 26 feet, 11 inches. He is the second qualifier. So we have a great showdown in store for The long jumpers tomorrow afternoon.
And there's a Soviet.
In lane 1, Torsten Voss, the leader after the first day, finished second by 7/100ths of a second, but comfortably held on to his lead. And in lane 5, Daley Thompson ran a 14:87, his slowest time in 9 years. Now let's go to Dwight.
Torsten Voss of East Germany steps into the ring for his first throw in the decathlon discus. And once again, a very solid performance here, 144 feet, 3 inches for Voss. Next, Siegfried Wentz of West Germany for his first throw. And an excellent effort, 155 feet, 4 inches. Wentz is able to get some ground back on Voss. Now the pole vault, and Torsten Voss, final attempt at 16.8 3/4. And a nice clearance there. He continues to extend his lead. Tim Bright of the United States. He is the world record holder in the decathlon pole vault. And he shows why right here. Final attempt, 17.8½. An excellent clearance for Bright.
So after 8 events, Daley Thompson.
Ivana Martin with a good start in lane 3. Ashkenaz is next to her. Lane 4 is Ashkenaz out in front. Zagorcheva running second. It is Ashkenaz Zagorcheva, Ashkenaz Zagorcheva, Ivana Martin, and Picaro. Those 4 will move through to the finals.
Very interesting because Ashkenaz came out slowly this season, and Zagorcheva has the world record. In the middle of your screen, Ashkenaz in the white bottom and the blue top gets out well, as does Ivana Martin on the right. But now she just pulls away. It's like the hurdles are not there. She just skims over the hurdles. She's very tall, very much in control. She beats Zagorcheva here, but of course this is the semifinal.
Unofficial 12.66 into a slight headwind.
Well, Charlie and I flipped to see who would read the list of finalists for the women's 100-meter hurdles, and I lost, so here we go. Martin, the 20-year-old from Tennessee, the only American in the final 8. She does not figure to medal. There's the world record holder, Zagorcheva of Bulgaria, her teammate Dankova, Ashkenaz and Yubel of East Germany, 2 French women, Eloy and Picaro, and Zaskovich of West Germany in the final 8. This is
in the fastest 1,500 qualifying heat ever. Abdi Bili of Somalia came from 6th place to set a championship record of 3:35.67.
And off a very fast pace, Joseph Cheshire in red from Kenya took it with 1 lap to go. Steve Cram from Great Britain on his shoulder going to qualify. Jose Luis Gonzalez from Spain on his outside, but the man on the far outside who looks the best here, Abdi Bili from Somalia. He looks very good.
Abdi Bili has thrown down the gauntlet. Jose Luis Gonzalez of Spain, Steve Scott of the United States, and Steve Cram of Great Britain have all moved through. It'll be a great final.
So the final field for the 1,500 meters on Sunday is set. If you look at the bottom of the list, those are the 2 men who won the semifinals. Bile of Somalia set a championship record in his semi, and Harold of East Germany won the other. The Americans, as we go to the top of the list, led by Steve Scott and Jim Spivey. The man who won in Helsinki, Steve Cram of Great Britain, will be the favorite. Gonzalez of Spain, 2 Kenyans, Cheshire and Sharuyat. And then, of course, Bile and Harold completing the fields.
In the first semifinal in the men's 5,000, with the 5 top finishers moving through to the finals, plus the 5 best times, on the last lap, Saeed Awida in 2nd place moved to the outside and tried to take command of the race.
And he's running just fast enough to qualify. He pulls up on the shoulder of Marcus Riffle, waits to see who's going to go with him. It's Frank O'Mara from Ireland on his shoulder. Sidney Marie coming up on the way outside. Now they're in a bunch. Still Awida trying to control the race. Castro from Portugal comes up. Remember, the top 5 qualify. Here comes Doug Padilla trying to get into the top 5. He's in 6th. Sidney Marie from the U.S. on the outside looking good, but Awida just running only as fast as he has to. Castro still looks good. Padilla starting to fade. He's going to be out of it. Marie still looking good in 4th place, but Saeed Awida looking around, going only as fast as he needs to.
After the race was over, Saeed Ouida noticed that he had been spiked. He went back to the Belgian, Vincent Rousseau, and he pointed it out. 8.
But if anyone was at fault, it was Ouida. Look, he just decides he wants that space. He pushes in ahead of Rousseau. He's the one that committed the foul, if anyone did. But I guess he just decided that no one spikes Saeed Ouida.
John Powell of the United States up for his first throw in the men's discus. And it was a big one. 217 feet, 3 inches, and into the lead in the first round. Not bad for a guy who didn't qualify for the final 4 years ago in Helsinki. Up for his second throw, world record holder Jürgen Schultz of East Germany. And that is a big throw for Schultz. 225 feet, 6 inches, and into the lead. Schultz is a very big man, and he uses all of the ring and gets everything he has into this throw. A little ballet step in the front to keep from fouling, and Schultz takes the lead from Powell. On his final throw, Luis Delis of Cuba throws 2:16.7 to sneak into third place. Powell keeps the silver, and I asked him how the kids liked the old man of the discus.
I'm there to
She is in lane 5. Is Ginka Zagorcheva of Bulgaria. And here are the lane assignments. Anne Picaro of France is in 1. Claudia Zatskiewicz of West Germany is 2. Jordanka Dankova of Bulgaria is in 3. Gloria Wiebel of East Germany is in 4. Ginka Zagorcheva, the world record holder, is in 5. Cornelia Ashkenaz of East Germany is in 6. Ivana Martin of the United States is in 7. And Laurence Elwa of France is in 8. 3 medals, but there are 4 contenders in 3, 4, 5, and 6. Dankova, Wiebel, Zagorcheva, Ashkenaz.
It's going to be a battle between the East Germans in blue and the Bulgarians in red. You see Zagorcheva in the red. She has the world record, 12:25. She got it this summer, but Ashkenaz, the tall woman right there in blue, she's been coming on strong right when it counts, and that's right now. She had the title championship indoor. She's very tall, but let's watch her start. She gets out very quickly, and she's 5'10".
This is the final women's 100 meters hurdles.
You barely see Dankova, one of the Bulgarians. She's getting into the blocks. You can see her right hand. She's missing 4 fingers from a childhood accident. She would rather be a heptathlete, but she's in the hurdles. Last year, she was untouchable, breaking the world record 4 times.
And out very quickly is Zagorcheva. Zagorcheva with a great start. Wiebel and Ashkenaz, the 2 East Germans are trailing, trying to close on her. Zagorcheva. It is Zagorcheva. She's going to win it, and she does.
Zagorcheva, she had it from the start. That was the key. She got out so quickly that no one could catch her.
And she has really raced a lot this year.
You see her right in the middle of your screen with red on towards the left. Out very quickly. She's over the first hurdle very quickly. Look how strong she is. These women, they don't hurdle, they run through the hurdles. That's the key. Very little time over the hurdles because they can snap that lead lid down so quickly. All the way through. She had the gold medal from the start to the finish. Quickly out of the blocks. She gets her step pattern down very fast. Look how strong she is. She attacks the hurdles. Also, she doesn't lean down with her upper body. She just lifts her knees. That's important. The hurdles are only 33 inches high. She wants to stay in running form throughout the whole race. It's a sprint race, not a hurdle race.
Zagorcheva, an unofficial 12:34. If it stands, that'll be a championship record. Gloria Wiebel of East Germany second. Cornelia Ashkenaz of East Germany finishes third. We'll be back with more of the world champion.
I'll bet Daley Thompson would love to have had a big throw in the javelin like this. 232 feet, 9 inches.
Olander with the longest throw in the event, but not enough to put him up with the leaders. Voss is 1,500 meters away from the gold. Thompson slips 2 more places.
In the 1,500 meters, the final event in the decathlon, Torsten Voss of East Germany ran a very safe race, and he protected his score. Here he is running comfortably in 3rd place. He won the event on a consistent performance. He did not have a bad outing.
Schenk of East Germany and Tarnowski of the Soviet Union are ahead of him, but he's running very well. He's running for points. He wants to win by as much as he possibly can. And Schenk crosses the finish line running well. Tarnowski's happy he was 2nd, but the real happy man is Voss.
Torsten Voss wins the gold. Siggy Benz of West Germany was 2nd. He lost it in the high jump in the pole vault. Tarnowski of the Soviet Union was 3rd. But just as big a story, Daley Thompson, world record holder, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, defending world champion, finished way back in 9th place, his first loss in 9 years.
And Daley showed a lot of character. Many people wondered after the first day, he had a dismal first day, if he'd even show up today. But he did, and he ran all the way to the end.
First round women's long jump. Jackie Joyner-Kersee on the runway. A long-awaited clash between her and Heike Drexler. They each co-hold the world record in this event. And Jackie Joyner gets off a reasonably good first attempt. 22 feet, 8 inches. Up for her first attempt, Heike Drexler of East Germany, the other co-world record holder in the long jump. Both women have jumped 24 feet, 5.5 inches in this event. And as fate would have it, Drexler also out 22 feet, 8 inches. Second round, Jackie Joyner-Kersee. She is jumping before Drexler in the order. And a much better jump. It's too bad she fell back on it, but still gets out to 23 feet, 4.5 inches, and into the lead. Because Heike Drexler jumps after her in the order, she gets a chance to immediately respond. Drexler is the defending champion from Helsinki and does not have any intention of giving up here without a fight. And Drexler responds nicely here. But she seems to be limping a bit. She may have hit the board very hard on that particular jump. Let's see if we can pick it out. Very good technique on the runway. Great speed. But she put her foot down very hard on the runway, gets out 23 feet, 3/4 of an inch, and into second place. You can see on the landing, she was not very happy, and she had a very good contact with the board, but she's having a problem there, limping on her left leg. Now, Jackie Joyner-Kersee up for her 3rd round jump. She's in the lead by a little less than 4 inches. And this is a big one. But it appears to be a foul. Let's see if we can pick it out on the replay. Jackie Joyner, great speed on the runway, very close to the edge of the board, and an excellent jump, way out into the pit. But here you can see she is not fouling. A little controversy here. And the crowd lets the officials know exactly how they feel. You can see very clearly here, Jackie is not fouling. And the officials have said it's a legal jump, 24 feet, 1 3/4 inches, into the lead by a ton and a championship record. Now it's Drexler's turn to respond. Let's see if she's shaken off that little bit of an injury to her left leg. Good speed on the runway. She was going after it all the way. Still limping on that leg. 23 feet, 4 3/4 inches, still in second place. Now, in the 4th round, Elena Belovskaya of the Soviet Union. She's been trying to knock on the door all afternoon. Some very good jumps. And this is also a good one. She's trying to catch up with those leaders. She was leading the world earlier this year until Jackie Joyner-Kersee tied the world record at the Pan American Games. You can see here that she was in no fear of fouling. 23 feet, 5 1/4 inches into second place ahead of Drexler. Now Jackie Joyner-Kersee up for her 4th round jump. And not an improvement, 22 9 3/4, but she's still well in the lead. Heike Drexler up for her 4th attempt. She's got to make up a lot of room on Jackie Joyner-Kersee. Oh, but she bails out. She's really having trouble with that leg. She is in a lot of pain. It'll be interesting to see if she continues because she has both relays still to run this weekend. What a shame. Such a great athlete. Silver medalist in the 100 meters and currently standing 3rd here in the long jump. 5th round for Elena Belovskaya of the Soviet Union. She is currently in 2nd place. And no improvement on that jump, 22 feet, 8 1/2 inches. After conferring with her coaches, Heike Drexler has withdrawn from the long jump competition. Jackie Joyner-Kersee up for her 5th attempt. And she has to be getting tired. That marked 22 feet, 9 3/4 inches, but she has a solid lead. 6th and final attempt for Elena Belovskaya of the Soviet Union. And once again, no improvement. She remains in 2nd place. 6th and final attempt for Jackie Joyner-Kersee. She has a big lead with 24 feet, 1 3/4 inches. And she fails to improve on the last jump, but she is the winner. After 2 days of heptathlon and 2 days of long jumping.
Jackie Joyner-Kersee underlining her claim as the world's greatest female athlete.
And it was Lee McRae who led it off, then Lee McNeil, Harvey Glance, and Dennis Mitchell anchored. Now remember, this is the first round. You nominate 6 men. You can make changes. We expect to see Carl Lewis anchoring in the finals. United States in lane 7. Lee McRae in the Spider-Man suit without the hood. But watch the rest of the U.S. team. He hands off to Lee McNeil.
Charlie, when you're good, you can hot dog, and the U.S. is the best team in this competition. In fact, on paper, they could probably assemble the 2 best teams. Whether or not these suits work, I don't know, but they still run very fast in them.
And they're a lot of fun. Harvey Glance, and he will hand off to Dennis Mitchell, who is anchoring. And the United States with a comfortable 38.80, moving through to the next round along with Hungary, who finished 2nd in that heat. In Heat 3, the team to watch is Canada in lane 6. Jamaica also outside of them in lane 7. Why do you watch Canada? Because Ben Johnson is going to lead off. Now, normally, he does lead off. The question is, if they move through to the finals, will he anchor against Carl Lewis? We think so. Again, Canada outside in 6. Ben Johnson leading it off.
And Ben Johnson obviously running the fastest leg, but what happens is he runs up on the 2nd leg, and that's the disadvantage in this kind of relay of having someone so fast in 1st rather than in last position, because you lose when you run up on the man.
And anchoring, of course, you can hit top speed and continue right through to the finish line.
You don't have the handoff, but Canada has a very, very good team. They'll be very strong in the final, but if they were going to use Ben Johnson in the final, they should probably practice him here. There'll be a lot of pressure to put him on the last leg in the final.
Mike Dwyer anchoring for Canada. Clive Wright for Jamaica. They finish 1-2. Canada's time, 38.76. Is in 3. 4 is open. Brazil was scheduled there. They are not there. In 5 is West Germany. Canada is in 6. And East Germany, the defending champion, is in lane 7, and Silke Gladish will lead it off. Ashkenaz is running the second leg, and the reason that she is running the second leg is that Drechsler is hurt. He's not going to participate. Barrett is running third, and Marlies Gurr will be anchoring for East Germany. East Germany in lane 7. Bulgaria in lane 1 with Zagorcheva, Nuneva, Georgieva, and Dankova.
Gladish gets such a quick start on the outside. They have a safe pass, underhanded pass. Oshkina looks well right here. Canada's on the inside. They have a strong team, but all here looks like all East Germany.
Bulgaria, meanwhile, in lane 1 is also running very well.
I noticed that Oshkina did not have that good of a pass, but it looks right now like that Isayenko of Canada in all red is pulling up on the third leg.
The 3 top finishers plus the 2 best times in the 2 semifinals will be moving through, and this is Marlies Gurr anchoring for East Germany. It's going to be Canada finishing second and West Germany third. They are through for sure. Second semifinal women's 4x100 meters relay. France is in 1, Italy in 2, India in 3, Great Britain is in 4, United States in 5, Soviet Union in 6, and Cuba is in 7. For the United States, Alice Brown will lead it off. Diane Williams, Florence Griffith, and Pam Marshall will anchor. The United States in lane 5 with Alice Brown and a great start leading it off. A chance to see how they will do against the Soviet Union. The Soviets not as strong as they have been in the past. A good baton exchange to Diane Williams, and Williams down the long back straight.
Diane Williams has the best speed on the U.S. team. She was 4th in the 100 final. I think the Americans are trying to have a safe pass here. They look fine so far.
Had to reach just a little on that last pass. Pam Marshall will be anchoring for the United States. Antonova will anchor for the Soviet Union.
Pam Marshall has great closing speed. She doesn't have a great start, but she looks very strong here.
And the United States safely moving through with the Soviet Union finishing second, and it's going to be a photo for third. 1, Cuba in 2, Brazil in 3, Canada's in 4, India in 5, France in 6, Kenya in 7, the Soviet Union in lane 8. The running order for the United States, Diane Dixon is running the first leg, Deneen Howard, Valerie Briscoe running third, first time that we've seen in the championship, and Lily Leatherwood King will anchor. The United States in lane 1. This is a 3-turn stagger in the lanes through the first runner and through the handoff to the second runner, and then they'll break for the pole.
Diane Dixon in lane 1 in all white. You would be a little upset with lane 1, but Diane Dixon grew up on the indoor board, so she's used to these tight turns.
The Soviet Union running well in lane 8. That's way outside. That's Yurchenko of the Soviet Union. It's Diane Dixon, Deneen Howard, Valerie Briscoe, and Lily Leatherwood King. That is the team for the United States, and there's Diane Dixon in lane 1. Again, we had that 3-turn stagger, so you really can't tell until after we've come off the next turn.
Diane Dixon is still running well right here. It's so hard to tell, like you said, Charlie, but the United States just wants to qualify today.
Olga Nazarova of the Soviet Union is running second for the United States. That is Deneen Howard. And now they will begin to sort out as Deneen Howard running inside, the Soviets running way outside.
She's going for it. It looks like she has the lead, and you want to be up towards the front because you don't want to get all in the way when you're handing off with other runners. You want to be up towards the front because it's so hard to be in the back and go through the exchange zone with so many other runners around you. They're playing it very smart right here.
Nazarova of the Soviet Union has the lead over Deneen Howard of the United States, and Canada is running third, and that's Molly Killingbeck of Canada in third place.
The Soviets are in the lead right now, and they have the best time in the world this year of 3:20, so they are a very strong team.
Benignia of the Soviet Union will be running the third leg, and here's Valerie Briscoe of the United States running the third leg, and Marita Payne of Canada is running the third leg. 1, 2, 3. Now the 3 top finishers plus the 2 next best times moving through to tomorrow's final.
Look at Valerie. She's just concentrating on the Soviet woman's back. She looks very relaxed here. She's ready for this 4x400 relay, and there she goes.
Valerie Briscoe challenged for the lead. Benigna holds her off on the turn.
That's what you want to do because on the turns, it's harder to pass there. Soviet woman is holding Valerie off, and it's not smart to pass on the turn. It's harder on your body. You waste a lot of energy.
And now Valerie Briscoe moving just a little outside is not going to close that much more. And so right now the Soviet Union winning the mind games in this semifinal.
And you don't want to go all out here. You want to qualify, you want to run well, but you've got a final yet to go, so you want to conserve a little bit of energy.
Olga Brizgina of the Soviet Union is anchoring, and Lily Leatherwood King is anchoring for the United States, and Julian Richardson is anchoring for Canada.
I wouldn't be surprised here if Lily Leatherwood is just going to play it safe. Run a good race. She's going to qualify unless she drops the baton. But the final is left, and Brizgina won the 400 open race. She's very strong. Lily has the best finish, but she looks just very relaxed. She's just running to qualify.
So it is the Soviet Union out in front. This is Lily Leatherwood King of the United States running second. Canada is third, and France is fourth, and that is the order that they will finish in this semifinal heat. So the Soviet Union, the United States, and Canada safely through 3:20.77.
Very fast time. That's one of the fastest times in the world this year.
And here are the qualifiers for tomorrow's final.
The first finals tomorrow. Senegal is in 1, Italy is in 2, Japan in 3, the Soviet Union is in 4, West Germany is in 5, Canada in 6, Spain in 7, and Ghana is in lane 8. The running order for Canada, Ben Johnson continues to lead off. Mahorn running second, Asai Williams third, and Mike Dwyer is anchoring. And we thought possibly that Ben Johnson would be moving to anchor, but he is still leading off, so they will stay with the running order. This has been their running order. In a way, you could say that they might dodge a confrontation with Carl Lewis if the United States moves through, but on the other hand, this is the way they've always been running.
And the other point to be made here is that Ben Johnson has most likely not spent much time with the Canadian team, so he hasn't practiced handoffs. And if you have someone who hasn't been with your team and practicing, the best place to put him is in the first leg, so all he has to do is give it to someone.
Also, he has the greatest start in the world.
And the difficulty there is that perhaps he'll run up on leg 2, but they've had a little practice now, and Mahorn should know that he has to start a little sooner than he would with anyone else in the world to get the handoff.
Canada in 6, the Soviet Union in 4. Those would be the top 2 teams here in this semifinal. Watch for his leaping start. He does come out of the blocks in a hurry. And Canada does take the lead. He's already closed the stagger.
Let's watch the handoff. Does he run up on Mahorn? Better handoff than in the heats. Very good. Canada's way out.
Atlee Mahorn down the back straight. And he will give to Desai Williams, and a good exchange.
Whoa, Williams is running a good curve, but so are the Soviets.
Fyodorov anchoring for the Soviet Union. Mike Dwyer anchoring for Canada, and here they come. Soviet Union has the edge, and they move through. Canada moves through. West Germany moves through. An unofficial 38-29. In 4, Cuba in 5, United States in 6, China in 7, and Chinese Taipei in lane 8. For the United States, Lee McRae, Lee McNeil, Harvey Glantz, and Dennis Mitchell will be anchoring. This is Dennis Mitchell. He is anchoring for the United States in the final. Could well be placed by Carl Lewis. If so, he would still get a gold medal or a silver or a bronze if they do medal. Lee McRae leading it off for the United States. Not that good a start for McRae. Little slow coming out of the blocks. And behind at the exchange, United States now about in 4th place. Lee McNeil will have to make it up along the back straight. The exchange, it's a good one. And it is Harvey Glantz. Glantz on the turn. And the United States now comfortably in front in the semifinals. And here is Dennis Mitchell. Jamaica running second. That's Clive Wright, who is anchoring for Jamaica. And Hungary finishes third.
Qualifying time then the United States, 3:8.29 to 38:33. Canada had the 3rd best time. It figures that Carl Lewis will make up the difference tomorrow.
Panetta, the favorite in the steeplechase. And it's crowded at the first barrier because it's so close, because the water jump here is on the outside.
But Peter Koech, one of the other favorites from Kenya, taking the lead in lane 1.
Running 7 and an 8th as far as the laps are concerned. They are wide laps because at the far end, when they come to the water jump, you will be able to see a total of 28 barriers 7 water jumps.
And we may have a game plan going here. Franco Baffi from Italy is in first. Panetta is in second. They may be sacrificing Baffi for Panetta in this race because Panetta needs a fast pace in order to win. He's going out in front. Panetta in fourth.
Franco Baffi, number 581, taking the lead as they come to the water jump.
Patrick Sang takes the lead back as they come over, but then Baffi takes it back again.
So it is Baffi, and now I believe that is Joshua Kipkemboy of Kenya who is running second, and Sang is running behind him. And now Panetta moves up.
Panetta will have to take it out in this race if he wants to win.
Six laps to go. The steeplechase, where does it come from? Well, it started kind of cross-country and then through rivers and over hedges, and then to make it harder from township to township, they ran up and down the steeple. And that's what we're recreating here.
Baffi continues to lead. Kipkemboy in second, Panetta in third, Panier from France in fourth on the inside.
Raymond Panier of France running fourth right now.
And the real kicker in this race, the man with speed, Melzer from East Germany, is in sixth place. So the person who has to run from the front is in second place. The one who has the sprint is in last, and the Kenyans are unknown. Joshua Kipkemboy in front.
Jose Regalo of Portugal now takes the lead. And just in case you're wondering, Henry Marsh, as usual, is in last place.
And if Henry runs a good race, he may medal, but he's way back, and now people know how to run against Henry.
Francesco Panetta of Italy with the lead. 5 laps to go. Kipkemboy running second. Regalo of Portugal running third.
Melzer from East Germany is in fourth. Van Dijk from Belgium is in fifth. Panetta will not give up the lead. Kipkemboy comes up on his side. In this race, you have to be very careful about running close to the other competitors. In most of the track races, you can get close, but not here. You have to give space for when they come to the hurdles.
Panetta now edging back into the lead over Joshua Kipkemboy of Kenya.
And he's starting to press. This may be where he tries to break it open. But on every water jump, Kipkemboy takes the water jump better than Panetta. And on the last lap, coming into the home straight, that may be a factor.
Jose Regalo of Portugal continues to run third. Panetta, Kipkemboy, Regalo, the top three. Melzer of East Germany is fourth.
Panetta from Italy beginning to press, beginning to pull away a little bit. Joshua Kipkemboy from Kenya not letting him go, and that will be dangerous. If Panetta can not get away from Kipkemboy, he is in real trouble. Let's watch how they hurdle. Whoa!
Kipkemboy goes down.
Kipkemboy goes down. One of the favorites is down.
Raymond Panier of France is now second, and Kipkemboy is down, and he is out. He took a terrible fall. William Van Dijk of Belgium is third.
And Panetta senses something going on. He's pressing. He's trying to break away. It's as if he said, okay, my major opposition's gone. Now the race starts. He is trying to run away. He's made his commitment. He has to run hard all the way to the end. If they catch him, he's beaten. If they don't catch him, he is the toast of all of Italy.
Meanwhile, Joseph Kipkemboy has to stand and watch.
We'll return for the conclusion of that steeple.
2 laps to go. William Van Dijk is second. He was #1 in the world last year. In third place, it is Melzer of East Germany who outkicked Panetta and Ilk to win the '86 European Championships. But they'll have to close on him. They've got to get closer.
This race is one in which when the athletes fade, they fade very quickly. Panetta has to keep his strength because once he starts to go, he goes very fast, and the people from behind catch up very quickly. But as I can see it now, he looks just as good as anyone in the field. And what's significant to me is that Peter Koech is not with that group in second place. He would be the person I would fear the most.
Peter Koech of Kenya is in fourth place. Koech, the 1985 NCAA champion while attending Washington State. Now we're coming up with just over a lap to go.
And it looks like Francesco Panetta has stolen this race. If he can sprint, he has it. It's so hard to run fast in the last 400 meters of this race. I think he's stolen it.
At the bell. He leads by 35 meters. William Van Dyke and Hagen Meltzer in pursuit. The crowd will take in the final lap.
Meltzer is probably the only one with a chance to catch him. He's the one with the speed. Panetta is starting to tire. He did not run well on that hurdle. It's almost as if they sense it. They're starting to run him down. Can he hold on? It looks like he's able to hold it on the flat when he goes over the hurdle. That's where he starts to falter.
They're closing on him. Van Dyke and Meltzer. Panetta is faltering.
If he is in first, coming off that water jump with any lead, the crowd is going to absolutely go bananas.
Not that good a water jump.
He looks around. They're coming, but he's got too much of a lead. He's going to win it, and he knows it. Look at the smile on his face.
One barrier to go. He's got it.
They're not going to catch him, and he knows it.
He's waving to the crowd already. Panetta, Meltzer, Van Dyke, the medals.
In time, a new world championship best record, 8.58. We've got open silver back door.